Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Congratulations to the 2026 Stanley Cup champion, Carolina Hurricanes.
Congratulations, Canes, from Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka, proud partner of the Stanley Cup champions.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
A reminder during Men's Health Month, heart disease remains the leading cause of death for men in the United States, and high blood pressure can develop silently for years. In North Carolina alone, around 37% of adults report having high blood pressure. Here's a hot tip from Kraft Body Scan. Small, consistent changes, including walking more, improving sleep, reducing processed foods, and proactively monitoring your health, can significantly improve long-term cardiovascular outcomes. Learn about preventive care at craftbodyscan.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
Midday on your Tuesday, temperatures in the low to mid 80s, highs in the mid 80s under a mostly cloudy sky this afternoon with still low humidity. Overnight mid to upper 60s, then heating up Wednesday, highs in the low to mid 90s. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 394 points today to 52,065.
Eight years ago, when Rod Brindamore was hired to be the head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, he said the mission was to be the best team in the NHL. 5 seconds away. Played out, and the Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup. It's yours, Carolina, and it's coming back to North Carolina. The Stanley Cup.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Woke up today, and the Carolina Hurricanes are still Stanley Cup champs. One of these days I'll wake up and not check, but for now, they're still Stanley Cup champs. And when I woke up today, some of the Canes probably still awake from last night. I'm Tim Donnelly, Max Gorin producing the show today. You can watch us on YouTube, live stream, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe while you're there. If you're already watching, then what's going on? And we'll get back. Today's going to be a slightly more normal show. Yesterday, first of all, shout out to all of you. The phone lines were lighting up the entire show, and we had a really fun time commemorating the Stanley Cup championship with all of you. Again, today's going to be a little bit more normal, which means more traditionally we're back to starting our show the same way we always do, with the Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
Big 3 at 3 is presented by Maynard Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. MaynorServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. If you were watching on YouTube, I was trying to point to the logo behind me, and it's one of those deals where it's like a mirror and it just didn't work out
It's
well.
like the green screen for the weatherman.
Yeah, exactly. Only I'm not a weatherman, so I was not very good at it.
If you want weather, maybe WRAL would be the spot for you.
I can look outside. Looks nice. Currently, looks nice where I am.
Yes. So Paul taunted me this morning. He's like, "Nice day out, Max. You got some golf reservations?" It's like, no, I'm producing Tim's show this afternoon.
Way better. Way better. It's U.S. Open week, by the way. That's not even from the Big 3 at 3. That's just a fun fact for all of you. Because we have to start with the Canes celebration. Max, you're our resident young person. Did you have any temptation to go out and meet the Canes out in the wild, meaning the bar situation where they're bringing
South?
the cup?
So I had a lot of friends. So actually, it's a funny story. I had a rec basketball game last night at 8 o'clock. So
what's better than golf, producing a radio show? What's better than being out partying with the cup, setting charges on other young professionals? Setting screens, excuse me.
We're not going to talk about my stat line because it wasn't pretty. But that actually precluded it. Basically, I had no chance of getting into the venue of the celebration last night. We did go down there afterwards because I had my roommate and I had a couple friends that had gone in earlier and were telling me they wanted me to come. But by the time I got down there was a line of maybe 500 people, like stretching around the block, down Glenwood, down, I believe it's Tucker Street over there. Just like zero hope of ever getting in. So I saw them roll in. It was funny, too. Martinook puts out the tweet. He's like, we're going to go celebrate 10 o'clock.
Bat signal from Jordan Martinook that got everybody all riled up.
So Brandon Bussey and his fiance walk in at 9:55. And I don't think another player got there before 10:30. It was like a real-life version of the rookie laugh. It was pretty funny to see and feels very on brand for Brandon Bussey. I don't know how late he or any of them were out ultimately last night, but something tells me like he was back home at like 11:30, just like chilling out, getting ready for bed. Like this seems like the kind of guy he is. So shout out to him. He probably got the card on the tab and. He's like just a little rookie hazing. Get the first round of drinks for everybody while you're there.
Loaded tots before everybody showed up. First of all, that's awesome for Bussey. I think we do forget like how, regardless, winning the cup is new for darn near everyone on the team. For Brandon Bussey, just like being an NHLer is new, right? Like he's probably thinking like, "Ooh, better get there before the crowds." It's like, no, you walk around the crowds. You're Brandon Bussey. You just had a shutout in the clincher of the Stanley Cup final. One thing I really like, and I'm sure other sports do this, but it's not as publicized, and I think part of it is because of how cool the trophy is, how cool the actual Stanley Cup is. I love that at least originally, at least for the first few days, it is like a team event, the celebration. And I think it's because like the party follows the cup. So the players follow the cup and the party is there. It's like all mixed in. There's like, when you win the Super Bowl, it's not like everybody has to follow the Lombardi trophy around. So you might have, a few different places where everybody's partying. Maybe the team's too big, who knows? But with the NHL, it's like everybody, at least there's an overlap, right? Because at a certain point, the 30-somethings aren't hanging with the young 20-somethings. But there's at least like 2-3 hours a night where everybody kind of, rallies and gets around each other. And that's really cool. Right? When you talk to Rod Brindamore about what he wanted for this team, it was not only the competitiveness, the win, wanted their hard work to pay off, but he talks about wanting the connection between teammates. That's a part of it. And then, you have Nick Delorier screaming about being, bleeping Stanley Cup champs. And you have, if you looked at all the videos online, I'm going to describe some things that don't seem real. You have Logan Stankoven in a graduation gown that says Canes on the front, and he's standing on the bar. You have KK, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, being like peer pressured into getting up on the bar when he's just trying to chill in the background. Like there was just pure chaos and what appeared to be a lot of fun going on. But then, as I just said, the 30-something-year-olds don't exactly keep up anymore. I liked to refresh my Twitter feed and see the videos from the comfort of my own house without going out there and, bullying people to get to the bar to get your drinks ordered and everything else.
For those that did make it inside, it seemed like it was pretty packed out. And given the celebrations, everything that went down Sunday night, I was ready to go to sleep after I saw them pull up with the cup and get the initial kind of lifts to get the crowd going. I was like, all right, like that's enough for me for now. There will be plenty more going on over the week, and then, of course, on Saturday with the official celebration in downtown Raleigh, like that's going to be a massive event, and that's going to be, just a great culmination of everything and everybody getting to celebrate. So should be a good time. I think they're still ironing out all the details and everything, but that should be a lot of fun and should probably dwarf the number. I looked today. In 2006, the celebration was outside the arena, attendance of 30,000 people.
Yeah, I would assume that will be
I think they're going to at least probably 3x that number on Saturday.
I assume that will be caught and passed. By the way, details on the parade, you can find them at 999thefan.com as well as the 999 The Fan app. So as we know, routes and times and what time different things will be open and closed and everything else, we can direct you to 999thefan.com and the 999 The Fan app for all those details. We will have some kind of presence. We'll figure out what we're doing, but there's some cool ideas behind the scenes. That's number one. Let's get to number two.
Number two.
The Canes run, I have to admit, it drew our attention away from something that probably deserves a little bit more of our attention, and that's the Carolina Tar Heels baseball run through the postseason thus far. They are 2-0 since arriving in Omaha for the College Baseball World Series. They play the winner of the game that's on my screen right now, West Virginia and Troy. They will play the winner of West Virginia and Troy tomorrow with a spot in the final series and the College World Series on the line in that one. Right now, in the game that will decide Carolina's opponent, West Virginia, who is ranked 16th in the country, has 2 runs. Troy has 0, and it is the bottom of the third. So still a lot of baseball left to be played there. But the winner will face Carolina tomorrow with a spot in the final on the line. Since being in Omaha, they've beaten, meaning Carolina has, Ole Miss 6-2 and West Virginia 5-2. So they have already played this West Virginia team, got the best of them once. And Carolina, you ready for this? They are the betting favorite to win the whole darn thing at -130. Oklahoma is the next shortest odds at +330. So the odds would suggest it's a really good opportunity for Carolina to go, to use a hockey term, hoist the national championship trophy. That is number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
Another event that has been dwarfed and maybe more appropriately based on the things we cover around here. We try to keep it local, but the United States men's national team is local to everybody in the country, right? The World Cup is going on, and the United States men's national team has already gotten started a few days ago. They beat Paraguay 4-1. Pretty dominant. I didn't watch the game. Pretty dominant is what I've been told. The soccer
that's correct.
Experts that I've kind of I'm parroting their opinion. Pretty darn good opener for the United States, but the context maybe is Paraguay didn't look that good, right? So context is everything in these situations. Also, I learned it's not Team USA.
Yeah, it's USMNT.
Apparently, that's just the Olympics. So not Team USA, United States Men's National Team, or USMNT. You can always just call them like the United States, which is kind of good for everyone. But just a fun fact there that I picked up over the last few days. And also a fun fact to show you how little I know about international soccer. So you know the baseline we're working with. But Max does pay a little bit more attention. So Balogun, right? There we go. 2 goals in the opener.
Yep.
I saw this question online, and I went, I don't know if I'm going to ask, but I figured I'll pose this one to Max. Dark horse for the Golden Boot?
I mean, well, when you get 2 goals in the first game, I mean, that's just Golden Boot is just most goals.
Yes, but it pertains to how many games you play as well.
Well, so look, like, they're going to get out of the group stage. With the new format, like, the top 2 teams of each of the 12 groups get through, and then the top 8 third-place teams also get through to knockout. So by winning the first game, they've already basically guaranteed they're going to make it to at least the round of 32. After that, it kind of depends on like who you draw and whether you win your group or not.
But 32, like a 32-team bracket, there's a lot of games. If you make it
US
to the Final Four and beyond,
they're not going to be
left.
Like, if they absolutely peak, I think they can get to the quarterfinal. And I think that would be a good run for USMNT.
So my point is, unless they absolutely peak, some other teams are going to have way more games
Probably.
played than them.
Look, if Balogun can continue putting in 2 goals a game, like he definitely has a chance.
All right,
but it's probably going to be Erling Haaland. Let's be honest. I bet Haaland probably has 2 or 3 today when they play Iraq.
Haaland, legendary Caniac.
Oh, huge Caniac.
He was in the Lenovo Center, and the place. I was surprised how, like, I don't think, when I think of sports that have, like, overlapping fans, I don't immediately go to, like, diehard NHL fans that would pay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not over $1,000 for tickets to a NHL Stanley Cup game, overlapping with, like, diehard international, whatever league he plays in overseas. But there was a real pop. Like, everybody was really excited for Erling Haaland to be there.
Yeah.
Erling Haaland, excuse me.
I mean, he's probably currently the best goal scorer, at least like in his peak form, like maybe Ronaldo like 10 years ago, maybe not even that many, but right now, like in terms of his athletic prime, like it's definitely Haaland, and playing his first World Cup game in about 3 hours or so.
All right,
I mean, that was big stuff. I mean, their camp being in Greensboro is cool. The fact that there's 3 teams in North Carolina too that set up shop, it's kind of big for the soccer community, especially Charlotte. They had Scotland down there. Charlotte is kind of continuing to try to stake their claim as a soccer city with Charlotte FC. So it's cool. It's good for the growth of soccer in the U.S. this World Cup, and luckily we're still right at the start of it. There's a ton of games left, probably a whole month worth of games still to go.
The United States men's national team will play Friday versus Australia during this show at 3 p.m. So there will kind of be a situation where if they score and we're on air, I think we'll be screaming and yelling about it. And then the following Thursday, June 25th, versus Turkey at 10 p.m. So we'll have to drink some caffeine. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Big 3 at 3, presented by Maynor Service Company. Check them out, MaynorServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. Up next, we do our own version of passing the cup. I'll tell you what that means next. It's Men's Health Month. WakeMed Primary Care wants to remind you to schedule your annual checkup. It's important to know your health numbers related to cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight, and BMI before it leads to chronic diseases. Focus on your health and preventing disease by building healthy habits and getting that yearly checkup and those screenings that you've been putting off. To schedule your appointment, visit wakemed.org. Once again, that's wakemed.org.
Yeah, can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Handy Hugo's, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Handy Hugo's today.
When it comes to your roof, it's all about quality above with peace of mind below. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We're proud to be in our 20th year helping families and businesses keep the roof over their heads as economically as possible. We work on every type of roof, gutters, and skylights with quality repairs, maintenance, and replacements for your home, your business, and multifamily. We offer warranties with every new roof and financing options for homeowners, and we're now serving Southern Pines as well. Visit us to learn more at roofwerks.com.
You could argue that making jewelry by hand is yesterday's way of doing it. You could claim that being particular about custom design and old-world craftsmanship slows down the process. You could call us old-fashioned, and you'd be right. Because the heart and soul of Bailey's is our workshop, where skilled craftsmen create heirlooms meant to last for generations. Come see why we've been voted the best jeweler year after year. Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Every woman wants a Bailey box.
Of the Conn Smythe Trophy to the most valuable player of the 2026 Stanley Cup playoffs.
To Carolina and Vegas on a terrific Stanley Cup final. And Vegas, 3 trips to the Stanley Cup final in 9 years is something to be proud of. The Conn Smythe Trophy is awarded to the most valuable player in the playoffs. This year's recipient has played for the Carolina Hurricanes longer than any other player. He tied a record for a goal-scoring streak in the final, and his face-off percentage win of almost 70% almost actually sets a record. And finally, Jordan Staal, you are the oldest player to win the Conn Smythe Trophy.
And if you can read lips, Jordan Staal said, "I'm not that old," right after that intro. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So I was planning on doing this yesterday, and then we had the phone lines light up, and I didn't want to get in the way. I didn't want to take any of your time. I promised the listeners their chance to react to their team, the Canes, winning the Stanley Cup. So we did that instead for the entirety of a 4-hour show. But today, speaking of NHL Stanley Cup winning traditions that I really enjoy, I like that we all sit around and watch them pass the cup to everybody for the little half lap. I like that because, especially in a team sport, everybody contributes, right? And I don't know if that was as true for other teams as it was for the Canes, but everybody for the Canes definitely contributed, so they all deserve their moment holding the cup and having the entire hockey world watch them bask in the glory. I always feel bad for the relief pitcher that didn't pitch in games 6 and 7 of a World Series, and by the time he gets the trophy, it's just like, here, giving his phone to a teammate, take a picture of me, and then he just passes it to the next. The hockey world does celebrate everybody. So I thought we'd do a little bit of that today, right? Some of it's going to be real, some of it's going to be dramatic, some of it's going to be funny, some of it's going to be real hockey related, some of it's going to be real culture related, but we're going to go through and we're going to tell our favorite stories from the year, our favorite plays from the year for each of the players that had their fingerprints on that Stanley Cup. And we'll start with, as you just heard, Jordan Staal, the first guy that got his real hands on the Stanley Cup because he's the captain. You heard the Conn Smythe Trophy being awarded to him there. 14 years. 14 years. What I think is fascinating about the life of Jordan Staal is there's a very, very distinct divider, okay? I don't know if everybody knows this. I reference it all the time, but I moved around a bunch as a kid, and I moved around a bunch as an adult. I've lived in, I think we came up with 8 or 9 states last time I checked. And because of that, I have a really weird memory where if a movie comes out or someone's like, what year did that song come out? I'd be like, I don't know the year, but I know it's between, 07 and 09, because that's when I was living in Maryland. Or I remember hearing it in the early part of me living in Hawaii, so it's probably around 02 to 04. All of that stuff is how my memory works. Jordan Staal, on the very same day, got married and was traded to the Carolina Hurricanes. During the reception is when he found out he was traded from Pittsburgh to Carolina. So you would think his life, the way his memory works, is very, very obviously, there's the portion of my life where he was a kid growing up. There's the portion of his life where he was a Pittsburgh Penguin. And then there is the 14 years where he is a married Carolina Hurricane. Right? So he knows everything by pre-trade and marriage, post-trade and marriage. And let's be real, pre-trade and marriage, there's a cup there. He was 20 years old. There's some success. He was playing with Sidney Crosby. He has multiple appearances in the conference final. He did all of that. And then post, there's some down years. There's some rough years. Even as he's had this success, it was supposed to be in Carolina with his brother. And his brother didn't end up hanging around as long as he probably wanted to. And I'm sure there were mixed feelings about that. And he ends up deciding to stick around. And I think it's kind of cosmic appropriate that he ends up having this run, finally winning the cup, winning the Conn Smythe, after his brother played for all those other teams. His brother retires. His brother has his jersey put up in the rafters, so he's back fully embracing the Canes, and the Caniacs are fully embracing him, to the point where right after the game, when the Staal unit bum rushes Jordan on the ice, it was Eric Staal getting there first. And he's wearing a hat of a North Carolina golf course. The full, like, this is the moment of everything professional-wise. I'm not talking about life, right, because he has his kids and everything, but everything post-trade and marriage was building up to this moment. And when you've been getting ready for something for 14 years, has anyone ever screamed from the mountaintops, I'm ready, as much as Jordan Staal did in the Stanley Cup final?
Oh, yeah. He took matters into his own hands. I mean, he had big shoes to fill, or I guess skates, if we're talking hockey. Like, Eric Staal was, like, cornerstone of the franchise. Like, I remember when I was growing up, like, he was the man for the Canes. Like, if you go all the way back to 2006, which I don't really remember a ton of. I was 5 years old when they went on that run. But, you know, as a young player in the NHL, he scored 100 points in the regular season and was a huge piece of that team in the playoffs, and was basically the leading scorer every year from, like, you know, 2009 to 2015 or whatever it was that he ended up getting traded to the Rangers at that trade deadline. And Jordan Staal just stuck it out, has incredible longevity while not really seeing much of a fall off in terms of his performance and his effort. Like, was always someone you could count on defensively and on the penalty kill, and showed that also over time, like, gained all the tools to be a great leader and a captain.
Yep.
I mean, went through the whole co-captain debacle with him and Justin Falk. Like, obviously that was a strange situation, but, you know, he'd seen a lot in his years. He signed that 10-year contract after he was traded, played that all the way through, signed another extension to stick around. Him and Rod Brind'Amour have a great relationship between player and coach, and it finally all paid off because they had that belief in each other. And you know how much Rod Brind'Amour loves Jordan Staal as a player, and you could see. I mean, you can see why, even if he wasn't scoring, you know, in 5 straight Stanley Cup games, because Rod will say it himself. Like, even if it's not on the score sheet, his impact is huge. But just the cherry on top, all those goals to help get them over the top, it was. I'm sure it was so special for both of them to see that, Jordan Staal to experience that, and Rod Brind'Amour to see his guy get it done and get the Conn Smythe was probably just a great moment for them.
Talk about our favorite stories. Yesterday on the call-in line, we took 4 hours of calls. The most cited event in the Stanley Cup from our listeners that were remembering, the things that would stand out about the series was the goal where he's falling down and he's reaching and just gets enough and a little elevation to score. That's not what I think of when I think of Jordan Staal. I love the minute 10, and it felt like 25 minutes, of him killing a penalty without his hockey stick, because it's the no excuses, right? It's not like, oh, my stick broke, guess we'll have to we have our excuse. No, it was, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to be excellent in what I can do. I'm going to take a knee. I'm going to put my body on the line if I need to stop these shots, and we're going to find a way to kill this penalty. That's what Jordan Staal, the hockey player's legacy for me, is with the Carolina Hurricanes.
If you really wanted to get like the epitome of Jordan Staal, it would honestly be like a defensive zone face-off that he just like snapped back or something. I mean, he was. I don't know what the specific percentage was in the Stanley Cup final, but I went over yesterday as we were doing Next Up in the morning, just like the game-by-game breakdown of his face-off percentage. I think the lowest it was like 65% in a game in the Stanley Cup final. Like, that's ridiculous. If you're over 50%, that's good. To be winning pretty much 2/3 of your face-offs and 70+% in a few of those games, I mean, that's peak Jordan Staal right there. He's that guy. He's that face-off guy. And who else would he have learned that from, and who else would he flourish in the face-off dot under than Rod Brind'Amour, who was known for exactly that when he was a player as well.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Quickly, because we're not going to have time to do as much as we just did on Jordan Staal for everybody. Joel Nystrom, I want to make sure he gets some love. He's a player that's playing in the AHL, and they have a chance to go win a cup, Calder Cup. But it's 38 games. I hope they petition to get his name on the cup. He, a rookie defenseman, 38 is enough for him to technically be a rookie, right? Or will next year be his rookie year if he draws into the lineup? I'm not sure. But when we think of the first half of this year for the the Carolina Hurricanes, the story is how many blue line injuries they had, right? And it started with Slavin missing essentially the first half of the season, but Gostisbehere was in and out of the lineup. Miller lost some time. Chatfield lost some time. There were Charles Alexis Legault looked like he was going to fill a lot of that time. Then he ends up getting hurt. Joel Nystrom just stepped in and talk about no excuses, made a lot of plays, skated some real minutes. It's not even like they had him out there and it was hey, we're going to try to get you 8 minutes and hide you. When Nikishin and Walker were skating top line minutes, Nystrom at times had to be in that second group. I hope they petition to get his name on the cup. I don't think they're the number 1 seed if he or somebody doesn't step in and kind of way overplay what the expectations for them would be early in that year. So give him some love as well. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. If you're looking to buy a house or if you are simply looking to refinance because that monthly payment seems higher than it should be, you need to call Miller Lending. It's a no-cost, no-obligation call, by the way. So seriously, if it is just something as simple as, this feels like too high of a monthly payment, I want to know if there's a way I can lower it, Miller Lending is a great place to call because they offer a no-cost loan. So you don't have to come up with all those costs and fees and closing costs, in straight cash to get that lower monthly payment. You can just call up and see if the lower monthly payment is there waiting for you. So give them a call, locally owned, 919-447-3377. Or visit them online, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We'll be back with the Dean's List next.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
Bull riding contest. I'm signing up.
You've never ridden a bull.
No, but I won playing a new Bucks Loaded Edition scratch-off, and I'm on a roll.
But they're loaded with $50, $100, and $200 prizes.
Oh, I'm riding the Widowmaker.
Go for the win with new Bucks Loaded Edition scratch-offs and digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.72 to 4.75. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hank Williams Jr. Are you ready for the contract? Live in concert.
It's a family tradition.
Bocephus Live.
Boy, can
with special guest The Outlaws.
got a thing for the finer things.
Saturday, June 20th. Coastal Credit Union Music Park, Raleigh.
Born to boogie.
Get tickets now at livenation.com. Part of the Mattress Warehouse Concert Series, presented by Live Nation.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list, and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Congratulations to the Carolina Hurricanes on an amazing season and for bringing home the 2026 Stanley Cup. We are so proud of our team. From Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School, visit deepriversportingclays.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, on a Tuesday. First of all, we are, in the best way possible, we are done with things like 2 minutes of gold, with things like cup check-ins, with all of those things that have become staples of our show.
4 minutes of gold.
4 minutes of gold.
Most of the time.
At times, 4.5, almost 5 minutes of gold, because there are no more Canes games. So, if you've really, fallen in love with those, they'll be back next year. Just not for the off season. With that being said, that does give us more time for things like the Dean's List. When we're talking college sports, I will keep you updated on the game going on right now out in Omaha at the Men's College Baseball World Series. West Virginia and Troy are competing in the moment. They are in the bottom of the fourth with West Virginia leading 2-0. The winner of that game will play Carolina tomorrow with a spot in the final. So they'll go to the championship series, which is, I believe, a best of 3. The Tar Heels are getting close. And in baseball, where things like bullpen arms and everything and rest are so important, not being the team playing the day before the game would be a pretty big advantage, especially if this game stays close. And from a competitive standpoint, you want it to go like 19 innings today if you're being real. But West Virginia and Troy playing right now. West Virginia leads 2-0. As I said, bottom of the fourth, but Troy does have a runner on third base. Just a sac fly. I thought there was a chance. Didn't end up happening. But we will begin the Dean's List with a couple of Tar Heels. Let's go ahead first and put in Colin Hynek. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing this. Admittedly, there's some box score watching going on here because there's been other sporting events going on. But he is a Carolina Tar Heel catcher on Friday versus Ole Miss. He scored in the 7th. So the catcher scored the run that gave them a 3-2 lead. Right, this is a massive game. You're in Omaha, all the vibes. He scores the go-ahead run in the 7th, then comes back up in the 8th with 2 runners on, goes yard. So it was still 3-2, hits a 3-run home run to make it 6-2. That's the final score. So from the point it was 2-2 in the 7th, the catcher for the Tar Heels either scored or homered in the next 4 runs, and they won 6-2. That's a pretty good day. And then also I want to put on the Dean's List Caden Glauber, their ridiculous pitcher. I've been probably selling him short talking about this guy because I've been talking about how crazy it is that he's a freshman. What I didn't know is that he reclassified and kind of, quote unquote, should be a senior in high school this year. He's 18 years old in the spring. But he reclassified up, went to Carolina early. In the games that he has started this year, Carolina's 25-0. Now, he doesn't have all those wins. He's 11-0. But they've won them all. And in both games in Omaha, against Ole Miss and against West Virginia, he's come out of the bullpen. And he ended up getting the win out of the bullpen versus Ole Miss through like 2 1/3, something like that innings. But that is an insane deal for somebody who, again, should be in high school, which is also a lesson to perhaps, as if I should be giving parenting lessons, perhaps a lesson to all the sports parents out there that just keep holding their kids back further and further because they want to be good at athletics. I don't know. This guy is actually accelerating, and he's an absolute monster for the Carolina Tar Heels. So, more than one way to skin a cat, I guess, might be the way to talk about it. Max, do you have any Dean's Listers you'd like to throw out here?
Yeah, I'll put Wake Forest on the Dean's List. So, as many of you may know, Germany's camp for the World Cup is based in Wake Forest. They're in Winston-Salem. They're using Wake Forest soccer facilities as their home base for the tournament. Joshua Kimmich yesterday was talking about the camp and said they came across a copperhead, venomous copperhead snake around the team camp. The quote from Kimmich was, "We saw a snake yesterday. We were told it was venomous. If you get bitten, you have to go to the hospital. I don't think you'll die, but it's certainly dangerous. I have the feeling that if you step on a snake like that, it can end badly. That's why we're trying to keep our distance from animals here. I have respect for the people here. In Germany, I have the feeling there aren't so many dangerous animals.
Yowzers.
So they're talking about Winston-Salem like it's basically like we talk about when we talk about like Australia and like the outback. It's just like a rainforest of like crazy dangerous animals. It was just very funny to me as I grew up in Winston-Salem, so that's why I'm putting Wake Forest on my dean's list, because apparently there's many dangerous animals there.
But again, talk about lessons. That is a lesson about like visiting places. Like that is one of the few animals around here that like will mess you up. Like most of the time you can interact with everybody and they'll be more afraid of you and they'll run away and it won't be any issue. But there's a few specific snakes that like if you stumble upon, that could do some damage. So now they think that like the area is just like you mentioned, like a Jumanji movie or something. Right? Just because it happened to you doesn't mean it's likely to happen. That's crazy. But, do a little snake awareness, a little lesson. Know what the colors of the stripes mean on all of them.
And so far, the two World Cup teams that have set up shop in North Carolina have both won their first game. So Germany won 7-1 against Curacao, and Scotland won 1-0, 1-0, I should say. I forget who they were playing. It might have been Haiti, but both those teams are 1-0 so far.
Can you imagine how much like the area would be hated if a impactful star from one of the World Cup teams was taken out of action by
a copperhead,
by just anything that's attributed to our region? Suddenly, like North Carolina would be like the enemy number one of just a random European country because of their soccer team. And they'd be mad that I just called it a soccer team. Last one for you, last Dean's Lister. ESPN is, I'd like to just keep you updated on where the local players are kind of mocked to go. ESPN.com updated their latest NBA mock draft. Cam Boozer and Caleb Wilson kind of holding steady at the 3rd and 4th pick. They've been there for a few iterations of the mocks. Boozer to the Grizzlies with the 3rd pick. Wilson to the Bulls with the 4th. Isaiah Evans, Duke product. Atlanta Hawks, 23rd pick. Henry Vasar, UNC. New York Knicks, 24th pick. So 3 and 4 and 23-24 are both Duke followed by UNC. And ready for this, State fans? 60th pick, the last pick of the second round. Quadir Copeland going to the Washington Wizards, according to ESPN's latest mock. The end of the second is impossible to predict, but it's still probably good to see. By that point, you get to the point of like agents saying, don't take my guy. We want to choose and we want to do all this other stuff. But hearing your name would still be pretty cool. That's the Dean's List. We can dismiss it. When we come back, we're going to continue passing the Stanley Cup. We're going to continue honoring, telling the stories of each player that contributed to the Stanley Cup championship for the Carolina Hurricanes. Stick around.
Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan with Dr. Brenna Houlihan from Wake Med. She's here to educate us a little bit more on Men's Health Month. Now, we've been talking about colonoscopies and whether someone is considering or not to have colorectal cancer screenings because they're experiencing some irregular symptoms. What are those symptoms that people might see that you would recommend they seek care for?
So some of the symptoms you see is really just change in your bowel habits. You know, you go from being sort of regular one way, it gets skinnier, it changes in consistency. That's something to keep in mind, and as well as bleeding. However, most colon cancers are asymptomatic or without any symptoms for a very long time. So even if you're not having those symptoms, make sure you stay within those screening windows and make sure you get in those screening colonoscopies, even if you don't have a single symptom.
Wow, really important to pay super close attention to certain things. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Houlihan. And if you have any questions or want to find a provider local to you, you can visit wakemed.org.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
It's bigger than all of us now. So watching the playoffs has to be a big deal, where you gather with fellow Caniacs to cheer on our team. And the place to do that is Carolina Ale House, the official Canes road game headquarters. Join the viewing parties at Carolina Ale House for every game during the playoffs. Big screens, full audio, fired up fans, and full homemade menu and frosty pints. Chicken wings and hockey? Hell yeah! Grab your jersey and your crew and get to Carolina Ale House for every puck drop. Find your location at CarolinaAleHouse.com.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payment, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Sissons. It's for the puck to drop. Works it back. Carolina collapses, though. Stankoven able to get to it. Now Gostisbehere shoots and scores! Shayne Gostisbehere comes up with the equalizer. Number 4 puts the Canes' 4th goal on the board. We're tied in Raleigh in Game 1.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Next up in the spotlight, as we make sure each and every Cane gets their moment on the show, where we tell our best stories, favorite things about how they ended up being a contributor to a Stanley Cup champ. Next up, Shayne Gostisbehere. First of all, I don't think people realize how unlikely of a story Shayne Gostisbehere is. He was born in Florida. Do you know how many people have won a Stanley Cup that were born in Florida? 2. And the only other that was born in Florida almost immediately moved to, like, Michigan. Actually, I think it was Minnesota. That's it. He didn't move out of Florida until partway through high school. And that was to go to a prep school up in the Northeast where he could continue to develop his game. But, you know, like all the junior Canes and everything that are going on around here, he was like a junior Panther. Like he was just a true Southern hockey product. And that's pretty darn rare. And then on top of that, he went to Union College, which, shout out to my wife, it's her alma mater as well. And he won a national championship there. He is just the 34th person in hockey history to win both an NCAA championship and a Stanley Cup championship. 34th or 35th, depending what order you want to put Gostisbehere and Mark Jankowski. But they are the 34th and 35th players to win a national championship and a Stanley Cup championship. And when you add all that together, it's not that usual, right? It's unusual that he's in the situation. And then on top of that, he had been here and he left and he came back, which isn't always the way you see things going in your career. There are a few turning points in this series, right? Jordan Staal was involved in a bunch of them. Brandon Bussey was involved in a bunch of them. There's Martinook was involved in a few of them. Jankowski was involved in a few of them. The play in overtime of Game 2, when Jarvis had the one-timer, was set up by an unbelievably high hockey IQ, like veteran guile, wit play from Shayne Gostisbehere on the power play, which is his whole role. And obviously Nikolai Ehlers maybe helped out by kind of jumping out of the way of the shot that ended up being a pump fake before he slid it over to Jarvis, who hammered it home. But that right there is a moment that Shayne Gostisbehere can point to for the rest of his life where he can say, when the weight of the world was on my shoulders, I did not panic. I did not get rattled. I stayed unbelievably calm and had everyone else on the ice being manipulated by me. And when you have a power play in overtime, like, you got everybody's best of the best out there, right? You have the best defensive players out there for Vegas. You have the studs on your team out there with you trying to score goals. And he was the one, obviously Jarvis finished it, but he was the one that created the play that really changed the series, right? In overtime, anything can happen. And if you go down 2-0, who knows where we are? So from a person born in Florida, raised in Florida, the only one to ever put their name on the cup, to have that moment. And then, by the way, like, he got Staal's goal was tipped by him on a power play. Like, then he got the power play going. But that's just a massive impact on the series for Shayne Gostisbehere.
Yeah, big time for him to step up as the engine of the power play when it struggled for most of the playoffs. Then you get to the final, and that was one of the key components to them beating Vegas, is that the power play started clicking at a pretty good clip, and Vegas has got pretty much completely shut down, and that's a huge part of that is thanks to Shayne Gostisbehere.
So there's our love for Shayne Gostisbehere. He's going to metaphorically here on our little activity here pass the cup over to maybe his complete antithesis, Jalen Chatfield. Right, a guy who is brought in as a blue liner, right? Both defensemen, but with the complete opposite job description, right? We don't need you on the power play. We don't need you for your offensive stuff. We need you to be locked down. Now, Jalen Chatfield and this show do have a bit of a history, and it's why personally I am always rooting for Jalen Chatfield, and it's why him having the opportunity to grab the cup and take his half lap, I was like extra proud, even though what I'm about to tell you is much more significant to me than him. When I first took this show, when I first took this job, right? I think I've said this a bunch of times. I had never professionally covered day-to-day hockey coverage. I had covered some college hockey, but not on a show like every single day, which is daunting if you've never done it. And especially when Canes fans, and I love this about you, I think it's warranted, you keep your guard up, right? You keep your walls high, because so many media members maybe disrespect the Canes for nonsense reasons. Like, the trust is not easily given, and I knew that. So there were a few things I did, right? I had flashcards with every player, current, prospect, former important players, coaches, and if you flipped it over, it had name pronunciations, it had their contracts, it had every stat they've ever had, and I was cranking through it. And I actually worked here, I think, for 2 weeks before they put me on air, just, HR and getting to know everybody, and you got to go shake hands. And the one thing I really asked for was I wanted a Canes player or coach on the first week. Right, and I hadn't made inroads with the SIDs or the communications people. I wanted a Canes player because I thought it was like a little cosign. Like, if people just see me talking to a Cane, maybe they'll be like, "Oh, all right, he's one of them." And it was the middle of the off season, so it had to be someone that was in town. And they hooked us up with Jalen Chatfield. And Jalen Chatfield came in studio for a half hour. And I remember going like, this guy must have drawn the short straw, right? Like, hey, you need to go do media in the middle of your off season, and it's with a guy who you have absolutely no relationship with. But he'd never let on. He never, made me think that it was a chore. He never was like, all right, let's get it over with. He was like, yeah, whatever you need. And he was great, and he was insightful, and he told me his story, which is crazy, right? From undrafted, waiver claim, a guy who had won at every level, but for whatever reason was also kind of overlooked at every level, and was just trying to establish himself as an NHLer, an everyday contributor. And not only has he done that, not only did he get a nice little $3 million per contract extension since then, he was a top pair defenseman on a Stanley Cup champion this year. So I'm sitting there going like, oh man, they didn't get the big name. They got me this Jalen Chatfield guy. And he showed up and he absolutely embraced. He was insightful and thoughtful, and then went out there, and all he did during his career since then is become a bigger and bigger and bigger and more important and more important and more important part of the Carolina Hurricanes. And the funny part is, if you go look at like the blue line, that was there during that, because I've been here, 3 years now? If you go look at the blue line that was on the team at that point in time, there were other guys with bigger names, but guess what? Him and Slavin are the only two that are still around. It was Shea, it was Pesci, it was D'Angelo, it was all of these guys that are not there anymore. He's the one that stuck around, and I couldn't be more appreciative for his insight back then, and I couldn't be more excited for his success now because his name's going on the cup, and they can never take that thing off. I know they'll take the ring off, but it'll just be moved over to the Hockey Hall of Fame, which is pretty darn cool. And fun fact, right? Did you see all of the, there's only one Jalen in the NHL songs?
Yeah, like the spin-off of There's Way Too Many Jalens in the NBA.
Yeah. Have you seen he's the first Jalen to ever have his name on the Stanley Cup. People are making a big deal out of that.
There were a few new names from the Hurricanes, too.
A ton. It's incredible. It actually shows you how hard it is to win a Stanley Cup. So first Jalen ever. Jackson Blake is the first Jackson ever. Keandre Miller is the first Keandre. Pyotr Kochetkov, the first Pyotr. But ready? Sebastian Aho, the first Sebastian. Taylor Hall's the first Taylor. That's insane. But yes, Jalen Chatfield is the first Jalen to ever be on the Stanley Cup.
Jaccob Slavin's probably the first Jacob with 2 C's.
It wasn't on the list that the NHL put out.
Well, they were probably counting Jacob with 1 C, and who wants to count a silly single C name like that?
Or perhaps a Jaccob Slavin that's spelled, or a Jacob that's spelled with 2 C's but pronounced Jaccob might be included in there.
You can't rule that out with all the European influence in the NHL.
Speaking of Pyotr, let's give him his flowers quickly here before the top of the hour. I wish he were healthy. Obviously, it's one of those sliding doors moments that maybe we shouldn't wish he were healthy, because then perhaps we never discover Bussy. Brandon Bussy never has the opportunity to develop, and he may have been the right guy, absolutely the only guy perhaps that could do what he did in games 4, 5, and 6. So you're knowing how it ended, you're very tempted to say, no, I don't want to change anything about how it happened. But Pyotr Kochetkov is a part of this team. He's a part of the DNA. I wish he would have gotten the start in the last game. I know that there was weird roster technicalities that kept him from doing it. But it truly, he is a dude. I really like Pyotr. I think he'll be a part of this team moving forward. The way I describe him, and I really like the way it works, is most goalies play as if they have headphones in with classical music, right? They're all just very calm. They're all trying to settle their brain. He plays goalie as if he has Metallica at full blast in his headphones. He's a little bit more chaotic, which just appeals to my sensibilities of sports. So I'm a big Pyotr Kochetkov fan. He did dress for the last 3 games in the Stanley Cup final, which I believe for a goalie means he gets his name on the cup. So enjoy it. And also his relationship with Svetch and Nikishin and everything.
The Russian mob of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Socially, I think it's important that they have their clique that they can reminisce about and hang out together and speak their home language and talk about all the things that we don't know about Russia, food or culture or whatever. So his role is important. And he translated for a while for some of those guys.
He's definitely endeared himself to the team and vice versa. I mean, if you go back to, I don't remember what team they were playing. He jumped in that scrum and basically was saying,
"No touch my guys."
No touch my guys. He endeared himself to the fan base as well. So I'm hopeful that he'll be back to playing in a significant role again next season. Seems like it'll be a tandem of him and Brandon Bussy in net, just based on how the contracts and roster are set up. And I'll be happy to see him out there, hopefully for 20, 30, maybe even 40 games, depending on how they end up rolling out the goaltending tandem next season.
The very simple, very obvious answer: no touch my guys. That's so fantastic of a moment to remember Pyotr Kochetkov for. Goalies don't usually have that kind of deal. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to keep passing flowers around, as the kids say, giving the flowers to the different Carolina Hurricanes who won the Stanley Cup. We should say that more often, too. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break from our passing around of our flowers to the Canes to talk a little Carolina Panthers. Football at 4 next.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar, the better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. So good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Stop by Handy Hugo's for great deals on your favorite Pepsi products. Head to Handy Hugo's today.
The golf season is here. Time to upgrade your game. Head to Global Golf and explore Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs. Whether you're just getting started or been playing for years, our expert staff will fit you with the perfect clubs. Plus, trade it in and save big on your next set. Global Golf makes it easy to turn your previously played equipment into serious savings. Visit us at 7320 ACC Boulevard in North Raleigh. Open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Global Golf, home of the best deals in golf.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
Tuesday, the middle of the day, and the humidity staying nice and low for the time being. Temperatures making it into the mid-80s this afternoon. Overnight, we're in the mid to upper 60s. Decreasing clouds, increasing temperatures Wednesday afternoon. Highs low to mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 336 points today to 52,007.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for football at 4. And we are entering, just so you know, one of my favorite seasons, which is best shape of your life season. We are entering renewed dedication to diet season. We are entering healthier than he's ever been season. We are entering the portion where players are not on the field. We're actually in the portion where NFL players, Carolina Panthers, really any team, is not on the field for a while. And when there is nothing that can be confirmed by our eyes, agents tend to, I don't want to say lie. Some might describe it as that. I will say it as exaggerate. Did your player pick up a weight this offseason? Perfect. He's in the best shape of his life. Did a player discover that, there's a Salad Works on the way home from wherever he hangs out to his house, so he's eating a few more salads? Perfect. He has an unbelievable, renewed dedication to healthy foods and diets. And everything at this portion of the calendar should be taken with a grain of salt. Or should be taken to the next level, right? Do you believe it? Should you believe it? Is there a reason why what they're saying is true? For example, there is a article on Panthers.com right now about Rasheed Walker, the free agent left tackle brought in prior to the drafting of Monroe Freeling, a left tackle, in the first round of the NFL draft. He is a player that, Rasheed Walker is a player that comes from Green Bay. And the article is a bit of a fluff piece, if I'm being real, right? There's quite a bit of, oh, it's fitting in perfectly, and oh, he's so far ahead, and oh, this dude he took all these reps, and blah, 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 blah. Matter of fact, I'll read you a quote. And this is from Rasheed Walker, so I wouldn't say this is fluff. This is him talking. Rasheed Walker said last week, I've been enjoying my first month or two in Carolina. I feel like this is a really good group of guys. I could start off with my group, the O-line. We work really hard. It's very similar, and I picked up on it quick. Now he's talking about their system and their plays and their scheme. It's very similar, and I picked up on it quick. I mean, honestly, I can say that I've really been liking the coaching that I've been getting. I feel like my O-line coaches have been making me better as far as my technique and things like that. So I love the run scheme and pass pro. I feel like Carolina was a good pick for me. That's from Rasheed Walker. Now, obviously, it would be weird if before ever playing a game, he was like, this place stinks. My coaches are terrible. So he's hyping up, as he should. Everything Rasheed Walker, all of the positives that are going on with the Panthers right now about Rasheed Walker is the exact reason why I am extra excited about the Monroe Freeling pick with the first round. Because what Rasheed Walker does is it guarantees us that the Carolina Panthers will not be starting a inadequate or ill-prepared or not quite ready or still needs a little seasoning, however you want to call it. You will not be starting Monroe Freeling unless he jumps over a pretty significant bar, which would be Rasheed Walker. Right? The advantage right now for left tackle for the Carolina Panthers is you are either going to have a starting left tackle that has made 48 career starts as a tackle in the NFL for the Green Bay Packers, who is picking up the system quick and knows his way around being a pro and loves the coaching and loves the scheme. You're either going to start that guy or you're going to start a young guy that is so good, so physically talented, so undeniable that he is seen as a better option than an experienced player with 48 career starts in the NFL at tackle with the Green Bay Packers, despite the fact that Monroe Freeling doesn't have any of that. Because the number one thing you look at when you look at Monroe Freeling's resume, where you go, ooh, what happened? I don't know if I like this. It's his lack of experience. Right? I think it's like 18 starts over the last 2 years of his career at Georgia. Prior to that, he was a bench player. But then you go like, but he's gigantic and he carries his weight well and he runs like a deer and he played basketball in high school. And you can go find some highlight films of him dunking and blocking shots and being an unbelievable athlete. And you look at the flexibility and the movement and the hips and you're like, this guy is great. So Rasheed Walker, all he does on a 1-year contract is make it so you have other options that are pretty darn high floor at one of your more important positions. And if you go with the young guy, it means high floor was surpassed by what Monroe Freeling showed you. If Rasheed Walker starts, cool. You had a guy that was very inexperienced that was drafted, and you can give him a little bit of coaching and have him ready for later in the season or next year. If Monroe Freeling starts, I'm going to get really excited because then you're telling me that he's so undeniable that he was better as an option than Rasheed Walker. So I want to hear all of this. I want Rasheed Walker to be coaching meetings, right? I want him to be grabbing the whiteboard marker, grabbing the laser pointer from the offensive line coach, and I want him running meetings. And I want everybody to love him. And I want the guards to talk about how awesome it is to play next to him because he brings all of this wealth of information. I want the tight ends talking about how great it is to have him as the end of the offensive line. I want them all talking about it, and then I want Monroe Freeling to start over him. Max, this will be your and you might know it, so you might pass. You might be able to test out of the class. This will be your literature lesson of the day. Have you heard the term "kill your darlings"?
I have not.
Okay, perfect. Now I'm not going to remember the author. It's an author that was played by the guy who played Harry Potter in a movie. Can't consider that one. But "kill your darlings," the phrase is basically like you write a book, fiction, right? And say you have 10 characters. right? I'm 10's a round number, so we're rolling with 10. And when you're done with the book, you're like, there's a little too much going on. It's too busy. I'm gonna have to cut 2 characters. We gotta make this an 8-character book. If it's really hard, if you love those 2 characters that you have to cut so unbelievably much that it brings a tear to your eye that you have to cut them out of the book, your book must be pretty good, right? Because if you're cutting guys that are that good, if you're cutting characters that are that awesome,
yeah,
just imagine how good the 8 that you kept are, that you chose over it.
So this applies to the Carolina Panthers.
You're
so
darn right.
They have to cut someone that normally would be
if they
a player that you would love to have on the field.
If they bench Rasheed Walker, if they say you're not in the starting lineup, and he's looking at, and they're going like, I can't believe we're taking a guy that started 48 games for the Packers. That's a really good offense, and he's here, and he's dedicated, and he's healthy, and he fits our scheme, and he knows our scheme, and there's crossover in his training and his background, and it makes so much sense, and he could be a veteran with the rest of these veterans. Are we really not going to start him? Just imagine how much they love Monroe Freeling, their young, less experienced first-round pick. Or if they start Rasheed Walker, same is true elsewhere, right? They have an unbelievable athlete. Relative athletic score at the combine, which combines everything, height, weight, speed, all of the drill results at the NFL combine. Monroe Freeling was the second best tackle in relative athletic score since 1987. You can do the math on how many years that goes back. Since 1987, he was number 2. There were thousands of tackles that have participated. He was the second highest relative athletic score. If Rasheed Walker is starting game 1, that means the second best athlete in left tackle history couldn't beat him out. You must really love Rasheed Walker. That's why I'm excited about the Carolina Panthers offensive line this year. Less excited about some other positions, but hey, we'll deal with those when we get to those. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have another minute or two here, and we still got a lot of Carolina Hurricanes to get to on our trip around the roster. So let's talk about one of the more, I think we're going to discuss this guy a lot this offseason because I'm already seeing it. Let's talk Alexander Nikishin. Alexander Nikishin, first of all, rookie year, won a Stanley Cup. He's already played in 2 Eastern Conference finals. He's now played in a Stanley Cup final and was victorious. Of everyone that played for the Carolina Hurricanes in this year's playoffs, I think Alexander Nikishin will benefit from it the most. And I'm not saying like legacy-wise, right? Obviously, Staal's legacy takes a jump. Aho's legacy takes a jump. Svech's legacy takes a jump by having that cup next to their name. But Nikishin, he's the one that's still growing the most. And actually, I mean, I think you could throw Stankoven and Blake in there, but, I mean, where are you going to go from like 20 points in a playoff run? Nikishin had some real rookie moments, had some shaky moments, looked rattled at times. Also, very rarely, but occasionally, flashed that ridiculous shot power and offensive skill set that he has. But there's still a lot to be left there for him to improve into. And the reason why I say we're going to talk about him a lot this offseason is because if you look at the roster, everyone's pretty much under contract. He is a restricted free agent. What is it? Freddie Anderson, Mike Riley, and I don't even know who else as far as unrestricted free agents. Oh, Nick Delorier, you're exactly right. Unrestricted free agents, which are, moving pieces at the end of the roster. Nikishin is a bigger deal there, so I think we're going to talk about that a lot. People are already putting him in trade talks, which is kind of crazy. I think he's going to be around. I think they'll find a way to work the contract out. I just still look at him and think of so much arrow pointing up, like an incredible amount of potential. And who better to try to get that potential out of him than the Carolina Hurricanes? Who better to drag him to just a certain level of defensive responsibility and awareness and everything? And once you do that, you're good, right? Once you do that, let the offense shine through, and he'll just get more and more comfortable. Because really the only part that I was like, ooh, what is going on there, is when they were a bit kind of shaky as far as how confident he was handling the puck and everything. You just make a decision and go is where he needs to improve, and that can be fixed.
Yeah. It wasn't the best playoff run for him, I would say. I think the hit that he took, the concussion, obviously played a big role in that and him only having 1 point in that playoff run. But it was very different from last year where he had just come over, no familiarity really with the system, like just kind of got thrown in there by virtue of there were injuries and they needed guys back there. He definitely looked a lot more comfortable out there and a lot more settled in after a full season in the NHL, where honestly he was very good and spent a lot of time on the second unit of the power play as well. So you could see how much more trust they started to have in him as a regular part of the roster. So as they head into the contract talks in the offseason, it's advantageous position because the type of I don't remember the exact, it's like 10.2C or something, like the type of restricted free agent he is. He can't be offer sheeted, and he's restricted free agent. So basically, the only way that he would not be on the team is if Carolina traded him or just decided they didn't want to sign him, and then he would be released. So I'm curious what the contract looks like. Adam Gold and I have discussed this off air a couple of times. And earlier on in the season, I was thinking they'd try to go maybe for some sort of bridge deal, 2 or 3 years, like $6 or $7 million. Obviously, they probably would prefer a long-term deal. Don't know if they'd agree for that necessarily. Maybe they'll try to play into a bigger number in the next contract. I don't know how the playoff run he just had will factor into that. Obviously, again, probably dealing with the effects of that concussion all the way through until today still, because you never know how much that can affect someone's performance. But I mean, I'd expect some kind of bridge deal regardless. I don't know what the AAV is going to look like in terms of cap room. Like, they have a ton to work with because they've, again, set up the cap sheet very well to be in a flexible position. I think ultimately it probably ends up being like, if I had to guess, 2 or 3 years, $5 or $6 million. And then hopefully he is so good that they're going to have to pay up even more when that contract runs out.
Here's the part that I always point out. He's essentially, I mean, according to what they are listed on the roster, he's the third heaviest person on the team. Robinson's listed at 220, Staal's listed at 220, and he's listed at 218. And if anybody is going to put on a little bit of weight, it would be him. I think he could play at 225, and I think that is something that the team doesn't necessarily have, especially on the blue line. So, if you do move on and you trade him and you get, better be a king's ransom in return, just make sure you're loading up a little bit of heft as well, because you need it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Kalshi. The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every match from the opening stage all the way to the final, and not just match results. How about stage of elimination for the United States? 36% trading right now that they make it to and exactly to the round of 32. If they are eliminated in the round of 32 and you trade $100 on that outcome, you'll be paid out over $250 if it comes true. If you want to go a little bit further, say round of 16, $100 trade will pay out over $300. That's just a few of the options. You can go quarterfinals, semifinals, outright winner, runner-up. There's a bunch of different options there, so do what you feel. Again, everything is tradable on Kalshi when it comes to the biggest soccer tournament of the year. On Kalshi, remember this as well, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. So it becomes way more likely that your outcome is going to, at least according to the trading, way more likely that your outcome is going to occur after you've already bought into the trade. You could get out of the trade at any point in time once that probability moves. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD with no spaces to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI, Kalshi, trade on the beautiful game. 18 plus only. Restriction and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543. Visit morethanagame.nc.gov. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will continue passing around some love to the Carolina Hurricanes, and we'll play a game of cop or drop. See if I'm copping or dropping what Max is serving next.
Move your sports day forward.
Championships are rare, and you'll always remember June 14th, 2026, when rare became reality for you and the Carolina Hurricanes. Remember the feeling when the clock hit 0 and you high-fived the person next to you. The feeling, multiply it by 1,000,000. That's the collective I told you so from Caniac Nation to every non-believer.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
This is the sound of Jack, buzz cutting his way to a small fortune. To Jack, every time he cuts his own hair, that's $50 right in his pocket. If Jack sees DIY buzz cuts as a saving strategy, Wells Fargo is right behind him. And with their mobile app, tracking his savings is easy. Oh, ouch. However you make money work, we can work with that.
Mobile carriers' message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a Tuesday, everybody. About this time on Tuesday, here on The Drive, we play one of our favorite games. It is entitled Cop or Drop.
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
We'll do a little bit of copping and dropping, and then we'll get back to our retrospective on the stories that were for the Stanley Cup Finals and the Stanley Cup champion, Carolina Hurricanes. Max, what are we copping or dropping today?
All right, well, since obviously we have a ton of conversation about the Carolina Hurricanes, I figure no better place to start than there. So with the Hurricanes winning the 2026 Stanley Cup is their second in franchise history, and it seems a lot of the players from this year's Stanley Cup winning roster will be sticking around for a while with the way that the salary cap sheet is set up, a lot of long-term extensions for key players, and really the only player that was on the regular roster other than Frederik Andersen, the goaltender, that is currently unsigned for next season is Alexander Nikishin. And as we just mentioned last segment, restricted free agent, likely to be re-signed and back as well. So given that a lot of this core will be sticking around, cop or drop, the Hurricanes will win another Stanley Cup title in the next 3 seasons.
I like that you put it in the next 3 because any given year, it's always smarter to take the field. It's always more intelligent to take the field. 3 makes it a little bit more interesting because I mean, it's just obvious, right? When there's that many teams and there's that many good teams vying for it. Will they win another Stanley Cup in the next 3 years? I'm tempted to say it's still true no matter who it is to just continue taking the field. But they are so set up, and I actually think they could get better. There's two ways to improve a team. I use this all the time. One is you replace players with better players, which if they wanted to, they could. They have 4 first-round picks in the next 3 drafts. They have a bunch of cap space. They have a team that's playing for the Calder Cup in the AHL, so they have prospects. They could, if they wanted to shake it up, go trade for a big dog. And by the way, I'm not saying to do that this offseason. This is the next 3. Or the other way to improve your team is to have individual improvement. Players that are already on the team get better. And when you're depending on a 22 and 23-year-old to be amongst your top 2 point guys or top 3 point guys in a postseason, you would expect they're not in their prime. So Stankov and Blake, even guys like Nikishin, Jarvis, they're still so young and expected to get better. But at the same time, I don't know if they got pretty healthy luck down through the postseason, which you can't really say out loud until it's over because then people get mad at you for jinxing things. So I'll cop 1 in the next 3, but it's close. I'm tempted to say there's no team I should take for winning a Stanley Cup in the next 3 years. But
Gave you 3-year window because Connor McDavid's contract is up in 2.
First of all, I don't think he's leaving Edmonton.
I disagree. I think if they don't win, he's definitely leaving.
I think he might have a gigantic new contract before we even figure that out.
And I don't think it'll be here.
I don't think it'll be here at all.
I'm being a little bit facetious, but not 100%.
I don't. If they make a crazy trade, I think it might be for a goalie. I don't think they're. They just won a cup. I don't think there's. First of all, if McDavid or any of these guys, because they control everything, right? Let's not call they have some puppet fingers that the biggest players in any sport control a lot. If they maneuver their way to the team that just won the cup, you're talking horrendous amounts of bad PR.
Kevin Durant type deal.
Yeah. But that team that he went to the Warriors didn't win, right? They were just coming off loss to.
Yeah. They had won the year before.
They had beat the Thunder, which is why it was bad. But it would be way worse if you went to a team that just beat everybody. So I don't think the Canes are getting anybody this offseason.
No, I don't think they'll be making any crazy moves this offseason. But you mentioned goaltending, so I'll bring them to my next point for Copper Drop. Copper Drop, Brandon Bussey and Pyotr Kochetkov will play all 82 games in net, barring injury, for the Carolina Hurricanes next season.
So if one or both get hurt and another goalie makes a start, that's not ruining this?
I guess, let me rephrase. They won't make a move for another starting or regular rotation goaltender next season.
Yeah, I'm copping that they will not. I'm saying they won't. Here's the thing. Who was it? Pierre LeBrun put out the could have been a real incoming grenade to a goalie's psyche, right? He put out during the Stanley Cup final that the Canes had called about goalies at the trade deadline, and he talked about Bobrovsky and Binnington. I want to emphasize this, and I've had this conversation with Eric Tulsky here on the air and also chatted about it a bit off the air. He calls about everybody, right? He does not want any deal to go down that he didn't at least know an idea of the price. And I'm not talking about a deal that he makes, a deal that anyone makes, that he doesn't know at least the idea about the price, because maybe he would match it or beat it. So, the fact that he called about Bobrovsky or Binnington, I don't care who you think. I'm sure he called about Wall, the guy that was just traded today. Just because he's an information gatherer. The way I look at it is this. They'll have conversations about goalies this offseason, and they'll recognize that with how much you would have to give up versus how much better you think a player is than the ones you already have, I don't know if they'll find that it's advantageous to them. And perhaps maybe they're a bit blinded by the fact that it's why would we pay for a goalie? We claim them off waivers, and they win 30-something games, and have a shutout in the Stanley Cup final. Like, we'll just do that again, even though it's not, doesn't work that way. Here's the way I think of Eric Tulsky. This is just the way I've built him in my brain. He comes from a scientific background, right? He's got patents that he owns. He's got advanced degrees. He's a very, very smart, very, very analytic based thinker. At least, again, how I built him in my brain. And without being any kind of a math or science expert at all, the more inputs, the better the output, right? If you ask me any kind of scientific equation, the more information you can give, the better, right? Okay, when you did your experiment, what was the measure of the solvent, the measure of the soluble, what glass were they in, what container were they in, what was the temperature in the room, what were the lights doing, was there any kind of wind? Or, like, you need to know all of that if you're gonna have the proper output. And that is, again, I'm sure it came across, just an absolutely non-in-that-world breakdown. So if he just wants to know the market for a goalie, he's going to call about everybody. If there's a player that might be available, he's going to call, because that's just another piece of information he can put into his equations to be better at doing his job.
So we're dropping. Okay.
I think it's Bussy day 1, Pyotr Kochetkov goalie 2, and it might flip-flop as the year goes on, but those are the guys.
Okay. We'll take a brief reprieve from Kane's talk for this next one. And I'll ask you about Brendan Sorsby. So the controversial transfer quarterback to Texas Tech, embroiled in a gambling scandal. This broke a couple months ago. He had been gambling while a member of Indiana's football team, had bet on games while he was a part of the team, among various other things. It was announced, or the news broke yesterday, that he will no longer be playing at Texas Tech. He will now intend to enter the NFL supplemental draft ahead of the 2026 season. Obviously, the NFL draft has passed, but that will be his intended pathway to play in the NFL as his college career appears to be over. So Texas Tech will not be able to get him on the field. Apparently, he will be keeping all the money that Texas Tech paid him for NIL. That's what I've heard, apparently, but...
I didn't know that. That's like a $6 million...
Yeah, it's a good deal for him.
Goodbye present.
I think it's maybe just so they can keep scheduling other teams out of conference and maybe avoid all these lawsuits. But so cop or drop, Brendan Sorsby will be selected in the NFL supplemental draft and perhaps play a snap in the NFL this season.
He will be selected. He's a talented player, and I haven't watched film on him, but it appears as if he's a very talented player. Brings some juice with his legs as well, can run a little bit. He'll be drafted. I would be very, very nervous. He is admitted, and this is if, you take what everybody is telling us, and we have no reason not to believe people. He's an admitted gambling addict, right? And it got serious, right? That's how he got himself in this situation. In the NFL, it is not like, oh, you got caught gambling on whatever. It's, slap on the wrist, 2 games. You're banned for life. So as somebody who, he has a serious problem that he's trying to deal with the way our gambling setup is, it's always right there in his pocket. And just one small dive back into that world is an issue. So that's how teams look at it.
We saw what happened to Calvin Ridley and what was it? Those guys on the Lions. Jameson Williams, I believe, was one of them, right?
Yep. But
they weren't betting on games that they were involved in.
They were not betting on games that they were involved in. I don't believe they were betting on. I guess Ridley.
Calvin Ridley had at least one NFL game in a parlay or something. I remember.
But the rules in the NFL are very strict about that sort of thing. So basically, the way teams look at it, he is a pretty big risk. So I think the experts will probably say a second-round supplemental pick, and I would expect it to go for a fourth. But that's just very on-the-surface reaction to the news.
A quarterback desperate team will probably pick him up is what I think as well. All right, we'll do one more here, and it's because I'm a big golf fan. I know you're a golf fan.
Yep.
It's U.S. Open week at Shinnecock up there in New York. And this is a stat from Justin Ray on X I thought was really interesting. 600.
Justin Ray, by the way, great follow.
Great follow for golf stats.
Just golf nerddom to the 10th degree.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
654 players have teed it up for the U.S. Open at Shinnecock all time. Just 3 players have ever finished the week under par in those tournaments. Cop or drop, someone is finishing under par at Shinnecock this week in the U.S. Open.
Okay, this is a little early in the week to be doing this to me, Max.
Yeah, because we don't know how the conditions are going to be.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know the weather.
I will say, I think I had read something of some weather reports. I don't think any of the wind gusts were getting over like 30 miles an hour or anything crazy like that. And it looks like it's mostly just going to be kind of like mid-high 70s, low 80s, and mostly sunny. Maybe a tiny bit of rain before the weekend.
I'm going to drop it. I of the guys, like the Scotties, the Rorys, the true monsters, nobody's really in ridiculous form right now. It seems like maybe like Scotty was on such a heater for like a year and a half. Rory obviously has had his moments where he's just gone nuclear. John Rahm, even though you don't really watch it, reportedly has gone nuclear a few times on the tour that he plays on. Brooks Koepka's hurt. I don't know. Like there's a bunch of really, really good golfers. Cam Young has cooled down a bit as far as Wake Forest, former Demon Deacon golfers. I don't think anybody's truly in like ridiculous peak form right now. And what's the stat? How many have played? Like 50 million, and only 3 have been under par.
654 players for a U.S. Open there, and 3 finished the week under par.
And those guys weren't bad golfers. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say I'm dropping it and undo it. All right, that's Copper Drop here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Let's get back to honoring some Canes, shall we? The Stanley Cup champion Canes, they pass the cup around. We all celebrate them as they hold the trophy above their head. We're celebrating them one at a time with our favorite stories, and meaning the moments that made them. They all contributed in a big way. Let's maybe continue working on some of the forwards and maybe not the super-duper stars. What about Eric Robinson out there? Eric Robinson, who, won the cup on his birthday, which is just impossible to top. For the rest of his life, people are going to be giving him presents thinking like, that's pretty good, huh? And he's going to have to go, well, on a scale of 1 to the best birthday present I ever got, this is like a -5 because the best birthday present I ever got was the Stanley Cup. I don't know if this is agreed upon by everyone. I think Eric Robinson is the engine of that fourth line. Carrier, Jankowski, and Robinson were an asset for the Carolina Hurricanes this year. That fourth line, and the thing that I think made them the biggest asset was how much they were trusted, right? A lot of situations that coaches would either not put their fourth line or do everything they could to avoid their fourth line being in. They were simply trusted, right? And I think a lot of that has to do with Eric Robinson because, he brings a certain speed element, right? The dude can just flat out skate. But also the threat of Eric Robinson using that speed or getting out in space and being physical, it just made teams a little bit more cautious when they were out there, right? They weren't looking to take advantage of the fourth line. They were looking, being a little bit more conservative when they were out there, which allowed Jankowski and Carrier to use their considerable skill, right? Jankowski, his versatility, Carrier, his unbelievable physicality. But it was the threat of Robinson to me that made it seem like everything was going to be okay. And then he had 3 goals in the postseason and 5 assists, which is, for a fourth liner, a great postseason run. Like a really, really good postseason run. So Eric Robinson, to me, and he's, as I said earlier, he's tied with Staal for on the roster, the heaviest player on the roster. So when he throws his weight around, he's throwing some weight around. Just a really good player, a really good signing. Everyone's going to point to, when you talk about Eric Tulsky, the GM, the Ehlers signing or the Keandre Miller trade and all of these things. But how he fit together the right pieces in the less heralded spots on the roster, I think, is just as important, and Eric Robinson was a big part of that. All right, let's do some heart and soul stuff here, Max. How do you think the 2026 Carolina Hurricanes Stanley Cup champions, when you tell that story, how do you tell the story of Jordan Martinook?
I mean, yeah, you mentioned you used the words right there, heart and soul.
Heart and
that's
soul.
The words that everybody uses for him, and it's apparent in like every shift that he plays, every interview that he gives, just like the perfect locker room guy that can bring a team together and rally everyone together to go on a run like this.
This is going to be nearly a backhand compliment, okay? But I promise you, I don't actually believe it. I think it's so hard to identify what he does really, really, really well that he becomes ridiculously relatable to fans, right? Because I want to be like Sebastian Aho, and you're like, well, he's an unbelievable, like, the skill is so obvious, right? And it's like, well, I can't do that. Oh, I want to be like Jordan Staal, and it's like, well, he's, first of all, for most people, he's just way bigger than you, and like you can't, imagine yourself being 5 inches taller and 40 pounds heavier. Jordan Martinook, the things he does so well are less flashy, so it's easier to be like, I relate to that guy. He's just a blue-collar guy. He just shows up and works hard. I could do that, right? Like, on my beer league team, I'm the Jordan Martinook, right? Everybody says that. And it's actually, I don't think it's true, right? I think it's that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but I'm actually saying that's not the case. What he does, I think, is actually very difficult. Because he's willing to give up his body or because he's willing to do the dirty work doesn't mean the skill isn't there. It means he recognizes other guys are filling those roles, so he's going to do something else. And that's not a lack of skill. That's a understanding of what each moment is called for and doing exactly that. I mean, don't forget, he has an overtime game winner in the postseason. Don't forget when they're down 4-0, he's the one that scored the goal that spurred the comeback that made it 4-4. And while they didn't win that game in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final, I think they won the series mentally during that 4-0 comeback to make it 4-4 in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. And then you have the stuff that like only timing could fix, right? He was the first acquisition under the current regime, right? This brain trust got together, owner, coach, the whole deal, and the first thing they did was trade for Jordan Martinook. And little things like he had to be put on waivers at one point for like a roster management thing, and he's back, and he's the one that suggested, if you watched any of the mic'd up stuff, the storm surge after the game in Vegas, and he's the one going around saying like, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do a storm surge, and while it could be cheesy and corny, when Jordan Martinook said it, every player was like, yeah, let's do it. And they got around and had that moment with the fans. He is a necessity to this year's Carolina Hurricanes team. For, first of all, how good of a hockey player he is, how skilled of a hockey player he is, and I want to recognize that. And then secondly, because of what he does to that room. And then on top of that, he appeared to be a great time once they got the party going. And, if he and Shayne Gostisbehere are standing on a table somewhere lifting the cup together, they're having a good old time, which is less important, but maybe just as noted. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have more Canes to get to, and you know who we're going to start with when we come back? We're going to start with Jaccob Slavin when we come back, who is the double-double man, the gold medal and the Stanley Cup in the same year. We talk about it next.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for Loan Pronto. Interest rates on credit cards are now over 29% in a lot of cases, and most people are only making minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved, and they saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you could do it all from your phone with zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows, so act now. Go to loanpronto.com, see how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
After 20 years, the wait is over.
5 seconds away. Played out. And the Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup. It's yours, Carolina.
Such a great story with this team. I mean, you dig into it, it's amazing, and I'm just really proud.
Your official home for the Stanley Cup champion Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
You put sunscreen on when you go out in the sun. Did you know that the sun could hurt your car, too? It's true. Keep cool this summer and protect the interior from fading and cracking with a custom window tint from Soundstation and Security. The sun's harmful UV rays can also hurt your paint on the exterior. That's why Soundstation and Security offers custom ceramic coating. Think of it as a little sunscreen with Soundstation and Security. 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
Hi friends, this is Mark Pons from Chapel Hill Tire. I get it. You don't wake up excited to schedule car maintenance. Between work, school, family activities, and everything else life throws your way, it can be tough to find the time. That's why I'm excited to share that beginning July 11th, our University Place and Crabtree locations will be open Saturdays from 8 to 5. Now you'll have one more option for taking care of your vehicle. Schedule your Saturday appointment today at chapelhilltire.com and drive happy.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar, the better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. So good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Stop by Handy Hugo's for great deals on your favorite Pepsi products. Head to Handy Hugo's today.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, let's paint the scenario here. I need windows, but man, I don't have 3 hours to go through the process of deciding what I need, when I need it. Can you help at the Aluminum Company?
Absolutely. So, first of all, when we come out to your house to look at your windows, typical window appointment may last 45 minutes, an hour. We're certainly not going to make a 4 or 5 hour commitment to talk about windows. We're there to help.
Serve dinner last time.
Right. Listen, my wife always says, I talk to my wife all the time when we have salespeople, whatever we're doing. And my wife, I tell her all the time, I can't stand salespeople. And she laughs. She's like, you are a salesperson. I'm like, well, the difference is I'm just having a conversation trying to help people get what they want. I'm not there to pressure you. I'm just there to help you get in and out. And it's a pretty quick appointment. It's pretty efficient. So we're there to help you and make it quick.
I can vouch for that. The Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online at aluminumcompany.com.
Hurdle leaves this one out for Stone. Stone makes a move, drifts across. Oh, great play by Jaccob Slavin, denying the pass. What a play. And the Canes will ice it, but they'll take it after another sensational defensive play by Jaccob Slavin.
Jaccob Slavin is one of 2 Americans in history to win an Olympic gold medal in men's ice hockey and a Stanley Cup in the very same year. Morrow from the 1980 team is the only other. And Jaccob Slavin did it, obviously, with Team USA and the Carolina Hurricanes this year. This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. And as we continue to tour the roster of the Carolina Hurricanes and talk about our favorite moments for each of them, Jaccob Slavin is a really interesting character in the Carolina Hurricanes Stanley Cup run. I had to. I almost made it sound like it was a requirement. I found myself defending Jaccob Slavin more this postseason run than I've probably had to defend Jaccob Slavin at any point in time in the 3 years I've been hosting this show. He had a couple of games, few periods, some moments here or there where I would say they were very un-Slavin-like. Right? Montreal game 1, he had his worst postseason plus-minus ever, -4. Right? He had a few moments where he got lost, a few moments where things didn't go his way, and I think it startled Canes fans. Because, he is, for lack of a better term, the boring player that you feel like you never have to worry about. And just seeing anything other than unbelievable defensive play, jarred you out of a dream, and made some pretty mad. But the thing that I always say, and this goes for every team sport, is if you make me pick somebody to struggle, I'm going to pick the best players on the team because they're the ones I'm most confident will bounce back. They're the ones I'm most confident have enough success in their history that their confidence will remain intact. So use the Montreal series as an example. Game 2, he was great. Game 1, even Rod Brindamore in the postgame was like, yeah, I don't know what that was. Haven't seen that one in 8 years. Game 2, though, he bounced back. He had some moments of wobbles in the Stanley Cup final, but guess who was unreal in Stanley Cup Game 6? Stanley Cup final Game 6. Jaccob Slavin. Nobody's perfect. He bounces back pretty darn well. And the irony is, he's had postseason runs where he was just really good the entire time, where he was just Jaccob Slavin like the entire time. And the team didn't win those years. This year, he had some speed wobbles, and I'm not saying it like it was any kind of huge problem. I'm saying he was actually much better than many of you made him out to be. But he had a few trips up here and there, yet they won the Stanley Cup. So what are we doing complaining about it, right? He's had 7 consecutive pretty good postseasons. The one where he had a few little checkups, they won the whole darn thing, so maybe it worked out for him.
Yeah, and there were other D-men there that stepped up in a big way, too, like Keandre Miller, as good as he was in the regular season, really elevated his game in the postseason. So there were guys to pick him up if he fell, both literally and figuratively. And it's important to remember, too, like Jaccob Slavin missed half the season from an injury that he suffered in the second game of the regular season. So for him to be able to bounce back, kind of find his form again, it probably helped that he had a little bit of rest while he was rehabbing that, but found his form enough, one, to win the Olympic gold medal in February with Team USA, and then to be the pillar of just one of the best penalty kills in the league and one of the best, if not the best, in the playoffs. To be able to do that, you afford the grace of a couple of moments where you're not at your sharpest, when there's countless highlights like the one we played when we rejoined from break where the other team may be threatening for a great chance and he'll just get his stick in. I think I remember one specific instance from Game 6 where I think it was Mark Stone maybe who was coming through the neutral zone, and it almost looked too easy. Jaccob Slavin just reached out with the right hand and just flicked it back, poke check, and sent the puck back the other way. And that's just, how many times a game does he do that? Like, it feels like a million, because he's always in the right spot, has one of the better defensive sticks in the league, and he's just that guy that you can depend on back there to be in the right spot.
Are you ready for another literary lesson? This is a literature lesson. Shout out to Mrs. Russell, my AP US Lit teacher from high school, because these memories are streaming into my brain. I haven't thought about them in a long time. 20-something years. Kafka, I think it was Franz Kafka, wrote Waiting for Godot. Anyway, he was an existentialist. And why do I remember this? There's literal, I don't even know why. But we had to read this book, right? Piece of literature. And it was forever. And guess what happened? Absolutely nothing. And it was considered a classic. It was an absolute, just unbelievable classic. And actually, I don't think it was U.S. Lit, because I'm not sure Kafka was American. I'm actually pretty sure he's not. So, just literature. I remember finishing the book and going like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And I in high school, didn't read all the books I was supposed to. So I actually read this one. And I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And the words that she used were, it was a designed anticlimax. Like, literal nothing happened, and that's what was supposed to make you think. And I went, that's dumb. But it is a classic, right? It is a masterpiece. It is studied in school. That doesn't mean I had to like it, right? You don't have to like the way Jaccob Slavin plays. You might fancy your defenseman to have 80 points, right? You might fancy your defenseman to be on the power play. That might be your style, but you can also acknowledge, like, oh, what he's doing is a classic, right? That is going to be taught in classes. That is going to be remembered for a long time. He takes exciting plays and makes them not exciting very quickly. It's they got a chance. Oh, it's a 2-1. Slavin got it. They're going the other way. Oh, no. Oh, this is bad. They've got a number. Oh, Slavin's got it. Look at that. pushed it ahead. Now Taylor Hall has it on the other side of the ice. Like, it's that quickly. And it's that kind of rising action. And rather than a big crescendo, it's rising action, done. And while, again, it doesn't have to be your cup of tea, just like, Waiting for Godot wasn't my cup of tea. But it's a classic. It's quality. Right? The experts have gotten together and they've decided it's really gosh darn good. And maybe something like the injury that he had, that he missed the first half of the season, maybe that had to happen for the Canes to have the complete team necessary to go win. Who knows? If Slavin isn't hurt in the first half of the season, is the rest of the blue line ready to step up when he has those speed wobbles in the postseason? Max brought up Keandre Miller. I'd put Sean Walker right there. That pairing, is that pairing ready? For the first couple of series, they were the top pair as far as like production. Keandre Miller led the team in time on ice. Like if that wasn't established early on, is the team ready to deal with some off nights here and there for Slavin? I don't know. Speaking of Sean Walker, let's get to him as well. Let's pass our love and our flowers, the Stanley Cup, to Sean Walker. Here's what I will remember about Sean Walker this year. Correction. There's a lot I'll remember about Sean Walker this year. What I'm going to remember about Sean Walker in the Stanley Cup final is the mental strength he showed going from scoring an own goal in a Stanley Cup final, which is, I wouldn't wish that on darn near anybody. Especially the type of goal, and it was Marner and the whole thing, and it was that game, and it was they end up losing by 1 in overtime, which when they were down 4-0 and Walker amongst those goals was an own goal, I was like, well, at least he knows it wasn't his goal that was the difference. Then the Canes stormed back and ended up losing in overtime, and I was like, ooh, that's going to sting. But it's the bounce back, it's the mental strength to not let that define him. I thought in Game 5, he was the best defenseman on the ice. He was everywhere. He was hitting. He was where he was supposed to be. He and Miller had formed this pairing, and it was noteworthy to me that he just looked at it and said, weird stuff happens. Bummer that it happened to me, but I'm not going to let that define how I'm remembered in this run here. And now everybody, that goal will be forgotten by history because of the fact that the Canes went on to win. Right? Those blunders, they only get magnified, They only get magnified if you go on to lose. If you go on to win, they get swept under the rug and everybody talks about the good times. And he contributed to the good times. He's also a player that bounced around a little bit, has a history in the league, and probably waited for an opportunity like this one. And now I think you run back him and Miller next year, and they're really gosh darn good together. They complement each other really well. As I said, they were top pairing. Maybe not in the lineup cards, but they were top pairing by impact for, 2 of the first 3 series, maybe 3 of the first 3 series. Shout out to Sean Walker.
Someone in the YouTube chat just wanted to let you know there's nothing accurate about the phrase American author Franz Kafka's novel Waiting for Godot. Franz Kafka, not American. Waiting for Godot is by Samuel Beckett.
Beckett! Oh, man. See, I don't remember it as well as I thought I did. And I by the way, I corrected myself on his...
You knew he wasn't American. You did.
Yeah.
You did pick up that bit. But
so is Samuel Beckett American?
I believe so.
That might have been. That might have been the whole issue. Nope, he's Irish.
Check Irish. Well, the effort was there.
Why do I remember my U.S. literature teacher talking to me about it? That's weird. I did take another literature class. I don't know why I took all these classes. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and that was the section of the show. Tim Donnelly remembering incorrectly his high school literature classes.
This is what they teach us for, right? So we can incorrectly cite it later on.
This is why you go into sports radio and not literature critiques. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Actually, this is like a lesson on memory, right? You want to ask me what Benny Agbayani hit for the Mets in 1999? I might have a better shot at that than
what he hit. Now I kind of want to see how accurate it'd be.
Actually, I'm not even sure he was on the team in 1999. But what I'm saying is I would have a better shot at that than naming, like, we probably spent a month on Waiting for Godot, and I couldn't even accurately recall
he was on the Mets.
wrote it.
He was on the Mets in 1999. If you want to hazard a guess,
247.
Nah, you're undervaluing him. 286.
Yeah, Agbayani was good. That's probably why I remember him. But my point is, that's a weird thing about memory, because I Samuel Beckett. As soon as you said it, I should have known. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back with the starting five next.
All the corner kicks, all the heart-stopping action, and all the soccer. Listen to 99.9 The Fan and Buzz Sports through July 19th as we bring you full coverage of soccer's biggest events. We'll have match updates, results, and news right through the championship and the awarding of the Golden Trophy. Our coverage of soccer's biggest event is presented by North Carolina Courage and Wake Orthopedics, your winning team for orthopedic care.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
Tim Donnelly here for Men's Health Month. We are catching up with Dr. Jonathan Chappell, orthopedic sports medicine surgeon from Wake Orthopedics. Doctor, when is an injury bad enough? How do you know that you should go see an orthopedics specialist?
It's a great question, and it's something that both providers and patients often struggle with. If you are in activity and you have an injury and you feel a pop, or you have immediate swelling, immediate pain in a joint and you can't bear weight, such as lower extremity, like an ankle or knee, or you notice a deformity, like in a wrist or a collarbone, these are circumstances you should probably see someone at an urgent care like Wake Orthopedic Urgent Care or at Wake Med to seek help right away. If it's something where there's some mild swelling, some irritation of a joint for a few days after an event, you can often give it a period of rest, take some anti-inflammatories, do some stretching, and many times they'll resolve on their own.
For answers to questions like that one and much more about men's health, please visit wakemed.org.
Congratulations to the 2026 Stanley Cup champion, Carolina Hurricanes.
Congratulations, Canes, from Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka, proud partner of the Stanley Cup champions. Congratulations to the Carolina Hurricanes on an amazing season and for bringing home the 2026 Stanley Cup. We are so proud of our team. From Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School, visit deepriversportingclays.com.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio, WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I'm WREL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. Lots of clouds out there this afternoon, and that's keeping the temperature down into the 80s today. Pretty comfortable outside. Tonight we'll have cloudy skies. Lows fall into the upper 60s. With a decrease in the clouds on Wednesday, and it's a hotter day with a high temperature of 93.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day up 328 points to 51,999.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, before we get started with the starting 5, we're going to talk about some NHL stuff. The parade for the Carolina Hurricanes scheduled for Saturday. If you want more details, 999thefan.com. The 99.9 The Fan app, if you haven't downloaded it, you should. Google Play and App Store has all the details that we can pass along. So check them out if you want to make it out to the parade. I strongly suggest you pay attention to the details and plan in advance because there will be quite a few people making sure they can see the parade from somewhere. And if you want a good spot, if you want a well-executed celebration, you may have to plan ahead a little bit. And I do not pretend to know the weather, but that's obviously a part of it as well. That is just a little FYI. Now let's get into our starting 5, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That one, I think he got it with it. Yeah, he got it with his stick because he looked right down to his stick.
As the Canes, again, you mentioned it's going to be everybody, Chip. Forwards coming back, and now a nifty play by Miller. He works it, and Kochetkov on a break. Kochetkov back, and he scores! Yes, Barry, Kochetkov back in the lineup and on the board. It's 3-0 Hurricanes.
The NHL, and Max, you probably know this better than I do. The one thing that I have a really hard time sitting down and making myself learn are, and it's not just the NHL, are the salary cap contract rules. And the NHL, I actually think, does it the best, right? Because for the most part, you just take the total value of the contract, say it's all guaranteed, divide it by the years of term. That's your cap hit. Give the players the cash whenever they want it. But that's how it's done. And I think that's the easiest way. The NFL is the worst. NBA, I don't mind the way the contracts are structured, but I hate the way the cap is like the aprons and the
bird rights,
the rolling.
And
so
first
dumb.
and second apron, luxury tax, et cetera, et cetera.
I have a feeling by the time the next CBA is done for Major League Baseball, we'll be just as confused because there's going to be floors and ceilings and all the ridiculousness. Really, the only thing the NHL does that makes it confusing is this buyout situation. It allows you to just take a pretty good cap hit over a few years and spread it out to a very little cap hit over 1 billion years is kind of the way it hits. And it also again, I don't pretend to understand how all this negotiation ends here, but the NHL teams, now that we're in the offseason, can begin buying out players' contracts beginning 48 hours after the Stanley Cup is awarded, and it will remain open so they can buy out players' contracts until 5 p.m. on June 30th. So it just seems, first of all, foolish to just randomly have this early offseason maneuver, but I digress. So starting with whatever time the Cup was officially awarded 2 days ago, starting at that time tonight, the Canes and every other team, if they so choose, can buy out players' contracts. Now, that is going to put everyone's eyes on Jesperi Kotkaniemi because that contract has been discussed as a buyout candidate for a long time. Now, again, I don't pretend to know why this is how it is, but the way his contract is structured now is his cap hit would be $4.82 million for all of the years remaining on his contract, which would be meaning this next year, the year after, the year after, and the year after, the next 4 seasons. If they buy him out, it will be a cap hit of $850,000, $833. So $850,833 each year through 2033, 2034. That's a cap hit they could easily handle while gaining $4 million per year over the next 4.
And actually, I don't understand why this is the case, but between the 2027-28 season and the 2029-2030 season, his contract would only count $471,000 against the cap. It would be $851 for this coming season, and then the 4 seasons after that. So it's a little bit more cap savings for those seasons in the middle, but obviously, dramatic, basically $4 million of cap savings for every year until 2030, and then they would only be losing, quote unquote, $850K in cap space.
I don't want to go into why any of that is what it is. Here's what I will say, though. I find it very difficult to believe that you can't find somebody that will willingly take on Jesperi Kotkaniemi's contract. Even I don't see why you should have to buy him out. And that's not to say I think he should be starting, right? I've come to grips with the fact that he doesn't fit in Carolina. But I also want to he's 25 years old. He has had a 43-point season. And his contract, while when he signed it was kind of big money, with the way the cap's going, it's essentially a bottom half of the league, third line center, maybe even a fourth line center contract now. So I'm not saying you got to get back a valuable pick or a interesting player for him. Get a player to be named later. Get a prospect who you know is never going to come to America and just send them Kotkaniemi, and then you don't even have to have those 800 and whatever thousand cap hits on your. I don't know why they would consider buying him out, because I think you can move him. Maybe I'm completely misreading the situation, but I think you can move him. Heck, even offer to eat $800,000 of the contract. Or even more, right? Because then you won't have them that you'll save in the long run by not having those tail years. It just seems kind of crazy to me. But we'll see if they buy him out. They can do so starting tonight and then going through June 30th. I also want to give a shout out to Kotkaniemi for this reason. Wild professionalism from the guy. Never once rose a stink. In so many, I'm addicted to the videos of Rod Brindamore in the postgame. Where he's pacing around and talking about, hey, power play, way to go, hey, all you did was keep going, grinding, I'm so proud of you. Kotkaniemi is a lot of times in the background of those videos, street clothes, but taking it seriously, paying attention, not being a distraction. He easily could have been a bigger issue, and he just never was. And I want to give him credit for that. And then on top of that, he played 42 games this year. His name's going on the cup. Pretty darn cool for the guy. And he makes, right? These conversations also remind us he makes $4.8 million a year. Good on you. That is number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
You have to foul. Now, 4-point lead. Here comes Fox. 5 seconds remaining. Fox to Wemby. Wemby tries a 3, puts it up, off the mark. Anunoby the rebound. It's over. It's over. Knick fans, this is not a dream. Your long, long wait has ended. Go ahead and cry. After 53 years, the Knicks are finally NBA champions once again.
We've been ignoring, and not by choice, but just with the Canes have swallowed up so much of the oxygen on the show. We've missed the Knicks since they won the NBA Finals. And I think Canes fans can acknowledge, hey, 20 years was a long time between cups. 50 years plus was a long time for the Knicks to go through what they went through. So, the crazy over-the-top celebrations by the Knicks fans that I know, probably warranted. Right? Probably warranted. What I will say is maybe test the brakes on the quickly putting guys like Jalen Brunson into some all-time conversations. He's a Mount Rushmore New York athlete. I'm I don't know if you only considered the Yankees, he would be a Mount Rushmore New York athlete.
21st century, though.
21st? Oh, now we're getting specific.
I know even with the Yankees, you still got Mariano,
Jeter,
A-Rod, Jeter, etc. But
yeah, I'm not sure. If you include New York, I'm not being disrespectful to Jalen Brunson. I'm being respectful to New York's sports heritage. There's a lot going there. But they won.
Oh my goodness.
I did not think they would.
I was trying to get some statistical context for Jalen Brunson's season. I type in Jalen Brunson in Google. Do you know what pops up if you type
Mount
in Jalen
Rushmore,
Brunson?
New York?
No.
Oh.
It's did you mean Captain Clutch Brunson?
Yes.
That's too much, Google. That's too much.
See, that's what I'm like, but that's fun. That's goofy. I assume they're doing it tongue-in-cheek. But I've just seen some real accelerations of his legacy. It'd be as if we're sitting here going like, Jordan Staal, Mount Rushmore of forwards. And it's like, whoa. He's got 2 cups. He's captain on this one. Conn Smythe, very, very good. But got to keep everything in perspective. Jalen Brunson, great run. I did not, by the way, hand up, did not expect them to do it. I thought whoever won the West was going to demolish whoever won the East, and the Knicks proved me wrong. So credit to you. Congratulations to the Knicks.
We'll say, I mean, Jalen Brunson's Knick career in terms of his stats, I mean, he's averaging, since coming over, 26 points per game, almost 40% from 3, so really good scoring numbers, about 7 assists per game. Those are the regular season numbers, and then obviously we saw what he's done in the playoffs. It's even better than that. I think he's averaging, nearly 30 points. Yeah, 29.4 points per game in the playoffs as a New York Knick. I don't think it's crazy to say that he's up there, at least in terms of modern history, one of the best New York athletes. And, of course, he did bring them a title for the first time in, how many years was it? Like 52 years, 53 years, something like that?
I think it's 53 is what is popping into
so
my brain.
I think it's certainly part of the conversation.
Franz Kafka was an American that wrote a book he didn't write. So don't go straight
American
off my
author
memory.
Franz Kafka's novel, Waiting for Godot.
I corrected half of it before it got corrected by everybody else. So just I'm saying my memory has been wrong recently. So don't quote it. Congratulations to the Knicks and Knicks fans everywhere. That is number 4. Let's get to number 3.
It's over. It's over. It is a win in every possible way for Cape Verde in their first ever World. It's over. Cup game, a 0-0 draw with the European champion Spain.
The World Cup is going on. Is there a game going on as we speak, by the way?
It just ended. France just beat Senegal 3-1.
Did Mbappe score?
He did.
There's some guys that are pretty darn good. Mbappe seems like one of them. Did he score twice?
He may have. I was watching his first one, but after it was 2-0, I did not see the last 2 goals.
Why is
so he may
this
have
so
been
difficult to see player stats? There we go.
It was like 3 of the goals in the game happened in the last 10 minutes.
He scored 2 goals.
15 minutes.
He had a goal in the 66th minute and a goal in the 90+6, so in extra time. As France takes the 3-1 lead. Mbappe's pretty talented. But the United States won against Paraguay 4-1. And what's the guy's name? The guy that
Valerian Balogun.
Balogun also scored 2. So he is on pace to be right there with Mbappe. Listen, the World Cup, it's a very long tournament. The what do we call it? Group play is going to be going on for a week, 2 weeks, something like that?
Group stage is, I think, 11 more days, and then it's, because of the expanded field, it's the first World Cup with 48 teams instead of 32. Then we'll have the round of 32, so it'll be a much longer knockout stage as well.
The United States men's national team, as I said, beat Paraguay. Their next game will be Friday versus Australia. And then the following Thursday, June 25th versus Turkey. Do we know where those games are going to be?
They're all of their games are West Coast. I think the next one's in Seattle, and then they're back in Los Angeles. I'm pretty sure it might be flipped, but I know it's both those West Coast venues.
Yes, Friday is in Seattle, and
the last one's in SoFi. I know that.
Okay. The reason why I bring that up is, it's rare, but like just the United States is getting a lot of glowing reviews from like the Europeans that are here to watch sports.
Some of them that had questions too, or maybe criticism of the U.S. before the tournament started. They're seeing some of the scenes now, and they're like, "Oh my gosh! Like these stadiums are crazy! Like, well, what an environment!" There
was a lot of hate on the fact that the World Cup was going to be hosted in North America, and now I think there's a lot of like, "Oh, actually, I get it," which is nice. Apparently, we have some really cool sports venues, probably because, the government pays for them for the billionaires. But also, like, it's funny how everybody, like Christian Pulisic, obviously is Captain America, right? That's what they're calling him. One of the best American soccer players. But he plays in Europe, and he said he's had some teammates hit him up like, hey, I'm going to be in L.A. for all this time, or hey, our base is in this place, give me some things to do. And he's like, guys, I'm from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Like, you're asking me what to do in Tennessee? Like, it's
a whole nother, it's like another country within the country.
This is not Europe where, like, if you're from Ireland, like the stuff to do in Ireland. He's like, I can't give you a restaurant in L.A., folks. Like,
you could just tell him, like, go to Texas Roadhouse or something.
Yeah, go to a chain.
My buddies and I went the other day because he saw I think it was like a Japanese tourist who was here for the World Cup, went and was, like, giving the glowing reviews, and he was like, man, we don't appreciate Texas Roadhouse enough. We got to go. So we went the other day and got, copious amounts of rolls and the cinnamon butter.
Thing.
It was so good.
I feel like that is exactly what Europeans thought it was. It's just like a Texas Roadhouse on every.
It's kind of what it is, though. I mean, look, the World Cup is
it's
bringing,
not just that. It is that, but it's not just that.
It's bringing so many great, not even just like the great cultural and social media moments and all that, but also like the games have largely been really good. Like I played that clip from the Spain and Cape Verde game, which was 2 nights, or it was that yesterday. There was a 0-0 draw. I mean, Cape Verde was such a massive underdog. I think if you had bet a draw in that game, it was like 15-1. It was their first ever World Cup game. The goalkeeper, Vozinha, he gained like 5 million followers on Instagram after the game. I mean, it's wild the way that the world comes together to watch these games. It was 4 draws yesterday, too. The last time there was a day with 4 draws all in the same day of the World Cup was in 1958. And they were all super entertaining games, which typically I feel like a lot of American soccer fans or American sports fans would not necessarily agree that a game that ends 0-0 or 1-1 could be that entertaining. But it was really good stuff and good scenes yesterday, even if you're not a huge soccer fan.
I'm just going to absolutely steal someone's joke from online. So bibliography to whoever came up with it online. I guess there was a friendly or something played at Auburn Stadium, Jordan Hare, I believe, whatever it's called. And so a European was there. I think Messi may have been playing in it. And they did the whole War Eagle thing. So they had the eagle fly around the stadium, which is a Auburn staple of game day. And this European fan was like, what is going – they just had an eagle fly around the stadium.
That guy has been like – they're rolling out the red carpet everywhere he goes now.
Which is very – like that is funny in and of itself. But the number one like comment that I saw was somebody saying – if you think that's crazy, just wait till we sacrifice a Pop-Tart. And he was obviously talking about the Pop-Tart Bowl, right? But once you get into, like, if they go into the college football world and they start looking around at the traditions, if they think, like, oh, your stadiums are cool, or, oh, an eagle flying around pregame is crazy, I can show you some stuff. Like, there can be some real chaotic things happening here. We'll show you a team win a game and go out and eat the mascot right there on the field. When you say some of the stuff we do for American sports out loud, it's kind of crazy. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
Carolina baseball is awaiting the winner of West Virginia and Troy in the Men's College World Series. As of right now, it appears pretty darn likely to be West Virginia. West Virginia leads 7-0 over Troy right now in Omaha. It is the top of the 8th. West Virginia's at the plate. So, obviously, Troy will have a couple of runs at it. And it is an elimination game, yes. So the winner of this one will play Carolina tomorrow. Carolina's waiting, and the winner of the Carolina game tomorrow goes to the championship series, goes to the one of 2 teams remaining. And obviously that means Carolina has a pretty darn good chance of hoisting the national championship trophy. They are the overwhelming betting favorite as it stands right now to win the national championship. And they've got some stars. Caden Glauber is going to be a guy that really has a star moment if they win the national championship. Freshman pitcher, could have been this year in high school, right? He accelerated up, graduated early, and got to Carolina early, so he could be their horse. He's come out of the bullpen the last couple of games, but he's made a bunch of starts. He's a monster. They're playing pretty well. Go Heels. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go 1! 20 seconds to go. 8 years ago when Rod Brindamore was hired to be the head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes. He said the mission was to be the best team in the NHL. 5 seconds away. Played out, and the Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup. It's yours, Carolina, and it's coming back to North Carolina. The Stanley Cup. We got a passenger on the plane tomorrow, and the Hurricanes are world champions.
Not only, and shout out to Mike Maniscalco on the call, not only did the cup make it on the plane and back to Carolina, it made it out to the bars last night. The Carolina Hurricanes are celebrating the way you should celebrate a championship, and that is with as much energy and as much effort as you put into the games that it took to go win that championship. It's when you talk about like, oh, they're the best conditioned team and they can send waves of lines and defensive pairings at you and they're so well conditioned, you realize that also sets them up to be a pretty darn good celebration team. They were out into the wee hours of the morning, singing Sweet Caroline and singing all the songs you need to sing and doing some drinking, and Nick Delorier was making some speeches. Nick Delorier, who, by the way, what he playing? 4 games for the Canes, both regular and postseason this year. He's a tough guy, right? Like when he is on the ice, you don't mess with his guys because he'll come over there and pummel you. It's part of his skill set and part of why he was brought to the Canes at the trade deadline. His presence is pretty impressive. I saw some videos last night. By the way, I did not go out and brave the bar scene to just, be in the same room with the guys, and I'm too old for that, to quote Danny Glover's character in Lethal Weapon. I'm getting too old for this. Bleep. Nick Delorier, there's a room full of a ton of people, and they are all in their bag, right? They're all having a great time. They're talking, they're chanting, they're singing. He got them to be quiet as heck. He commanded that room with a presence that not many could, only to then scream at him that they won the bleeping Stanley Cup, which everybody then ignited. He had them controlled. Very impressive by Nick Delorier. It looked fun. I'll put it that way. The drinking looked exciting. I do know that there were some closed off areas where the players kind of got to be. There were some areas where the fans got to integrate with the players, and I think that's cool, right? You want them to have their own moments. You want them to be able to thank the fans. Some of what I thought were the highlights when it comes to just the setup is when, there was how many people do you think waited in line and never got in? Because I know you were kind of more in the mix than I was.
Well, I can't speak to how much the line moved, because once I had gotten there, and at first I didn't really intend on going down there because, again, I had a very important regular season recreational basketball game last night. When I got there, I saw the line. There were probably 500 people in the line, and that was before the players arrived, and maybe things kind of moved. And, like, some people left and some people got let in. I have to imagine most of the people towards the end of that were not able to get in just based on, it wrapped around the block down there on Glenwood, down what I believe is Tucker Street, and then I think later on it actually went back up the street around the block. So who knows how many people total could have been in that line. I heavily doubt if you were in the way back you got in there. But
the reason why I bring that up is the players kind of were like standing up on benches and holding up the cup.
They were
and
holding
screaming
it towards the entrance so people could see, which was cool. And I heard Eric Tulsky actually was kind of like out milling about like the people outside, like in the line, which is really cool.
Eric Tulsky, obviously the GM, if you're unaware, he loves being amongst the people. Pre-game, correct? Because we did a lot of our shows, even during the regular season, we do some shows out from the plaza outside the Lenovo Center, and we're there to be amongst the people, right? We want fans, listeners, to be able to run up and give us first goal score predictions or tell us whatever. And I don't always reference it on air because I don't necessarily want to what's the word? Dox him. I don't want to tell everybody where he is, but I see him most times we're sitting out there just in his suit, walking around, No security, not talking with anybody. He's just like, he does a lap, and he'll take pictures with the tailgaters. Like, he does the whole thing. So it doesn't surprise me that if everybody was inside getting after it, he's like, I'll go chat with the people. He likes to be in the mix. People forget he started as a blogger, NHL blogger. Although it's becoming harder and harder to forget because everybody wants to tell that story now. Do you know Brandon Bussey worked at Chipotle for a little bit? Everybody wants to talk about that right now.
I'm hearing his LinkedIn was updated with his newest position is Stanley Cup champion.
That is, I don't know if it was actually, I saw a screen grab of it, but, can only trust that as far as Photoshop will take you. My point is the celebration last night looked fun. Kane should enjoy it. A 24-hour celebration rule when you win the cup probably turns into a 2-week celebration rule.
It won't be the last celebration this week.
And then also a week surrounding whenever you have your day with the cup. And then you can start talking about next year and everything. And we will as well, right? There's free agents and conversations and everything that needs to happen, but that's for a later date.
And as you mentioned, when we came back to start the starting five, again, if you need any information on the Canes Cup celebration and parade on Saturday, we'll have that on 999thefan.com, of course, on the 99.9 The Fan app. We'll release as many of the details about the route and parking and whatever else comes out as those become available. I don't think anything official has been released from the Hurricanes yet, but we're starting to get a bit of an idea of what the route might be, where it might end. But as far as right now, we know Saturday, 11 a.m., that's when things are getting started.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we grab numbers game contestants, Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical work. It is a great time to call Maynard Service Company. You may be saying, whoa, great time. Normally when you're calling Maynard Service Company, it's because there's a leak or it's 100 degrees outside and your air conditioner is not working, right? Great time. Listen. You can prevent those by getting ahead of them, right? Especially with your heating system and your cooling system. Set up a maintenance schedule with Maynard Service Company so they can come out, check the efficiency, make sure everything's working the way it should, and thus you avoid those emergency situations where you're calling Maynard Service Company in a panic. Maynard Service Company is not here just for the middle of the night extreme scenarios. They are there for those, right? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all across the triangle, but they also can help prevent those situations. So a little of both there. Call Maynard Service Company now or save the number for the emergency scenario, your choice. 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or you can visit them online at maynardservices.com. That's MAYNOR services.com. Let's go ahead and grab some numbers game contestants. The number to call, 919-860-5326. For your chance to compete in the numbers game, and this would be a prize that my car desperately needs. You can win a $25 Auto Bell car wash gift card. Get your car looking good. Call in now, play the numbers game, and if you win, you get the $25 Auto Bell car wash gift card. Again, the number, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Call in now, numbers game next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
This is somebody that left money on the table so that other guys on his team could eat. When the best player does that, it's hard as hell for the organization not to do everything within their power to empower that guy and to put him in this position. The New York Knicks are unconventional in the way that they built it, and now they're NBA champions.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Yeah. Can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Handy Hugo's, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Handy Hugo's today.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, Choose custom-installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Accidents happen, and they can happen at any age. That's why Chapel Hill Family and Cosmetic Dentistry provides complete everyday dental care for your entire family, from the littlest athlete to adults ready for a healthier, more confident smile.
Oh, nice.
Dr. James Ferguson and his team are here for everything from routine care and cleanings to advanced treatments, so everyone can enjoy a strong, healthy smile. Schedule your visit today at chapelhilldds.com.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. My favorite place to go in the Triangle for the best wings on the planet. How about this special? Every Monday, half-priced wings all day. Dine-in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Everything on the menu is amazing. Pizza, apps, and always great drink specials. Visit any of their 5 Triangle locations and their pet-friendly patio, too. Online, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have Chris in Youngsville and Ryan in Raleigh. They will compete using jersey number trivia for a $25 gift card to Autobell Car Wash. As always, we'll bring them both onto the show, ask them the same question. Our producer, which today is Max Gorin, will be our judge. He'll pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. We'll start with Chris in Youngsville. Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, the question for today is, if you had the Stanley Cup for one day, what are you doing with it?
Oh, man. Let's see. Just like Keenan and Kel, I'm going to fill it with some orange soda.
All right, like Keenan and Kel. Max, are you old enough to get the Keenan and Kel reference?
I'm aware of Keenan and Kel. I don't know if I've ever seen it, but I do know what it is.
Is it true?
Oh, I do.
There you go. All right, we go to Ryan. Ryan's up next. Ryan, can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, Tim? Go Canes, go Wolfpack.
Go Canes. All right, go Wolfpack. The question for today is, if you had a day with the Stanley Cup, you're one of the Carolina Hurricanes, what are you doing with it?
I think I would start the day by a nice brunch, probably some mimosas, have it sitting outside with me, followed by a round of golf, and then probably take it to a movie theater and just, no one else, just me and the cup.
All right. It's just a nice, wholesome day date with you and the cup. Max, are you rolling with putting some orange soda in it like Keenan and Kel, or brunch, mimosas, golf, and a movie theater?
I can tell you appreciated that reference that Chris made.
I think it's funny that the one, like, normally it's Dennis who's the judge, and he would have been even more in that time frame than I am, but he threw out that reference the one day we have a much younger judge.
Yeah. Much younger. He's not that much older.
Well, you missed a whole generation of all that comedy.
Yeah, that's true. But I appreciated the full like itinerary detail Ryan had for just like the full day and the multiple stops. So we'll let Ryan go first.
All right, Ryan gets to go first. Chris, don't worry, you'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a minute or two. There we go. All right, Ryan, you ready to roll?
Let's do it.
All right, the categories for you to choose from are NFL players, Panthers only. Major League Baseball players, guys who have 6 hits registered in a single game. NBA players that played in the 2026 playoffs, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Let's do NHL Hurricanes.
All right, I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. And I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, yeah, I'm good to go.
All right, if you're good to go, your time will start when you hear the horn. Sean Walker, Carolina Hurricanes.
22.
Incorrect. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, Carolina Hurricanes.
55.
Incorrect. Sean Walker, Carolina Hurricanes.
26.
Correct. Mike Commodore, Carolina Hurricanes.
Oh, gosh. 50.
Incorrect. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, Carolina Hurricanes.
82.
Correct. Marcus Kruger, Carolina Hurricanes. I apologize for getting a cough there in the middle of Mike Commodore, but you handled it well. Sean Walker, 26, you got. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, 82, you got. Ironically, you guessed 22 for Walker. We needed 22 for Mike Commodore. And then Marcus Kruger, 16 is what we were looking for. Stay on hold. We'll see if that holds up. And that brings us to Ryan and Raleigh. Ryan, can you hear me?
No, that was Ryan.
Oh, sorry. Chris in Youngsville. My bad. Chris, you ready to roll?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL, Panthers only, Major League Baseball players that registered 6 hits in a single game, or NBA 2026 playoff participants.
Let's go NFL Panthers.
All right. 30 seconds on the clock. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. You will have one pass if you need it, and I will say the team in this category just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. Do you have any questions before we get started?
Let's let it go.
All right. You need at least 3 for the win, and your time will start when you hear the horn. Jalen Coker, Carolina Panthers.
82.
Incorrect. D'Angelo Williams, Carolina Panthers.
33.
Incorrect. Jalen Coker, Carolina Panthers.
Pass.
Trey Boston, Carolina Panthers.
31.
Incorrect. D'Angelo Williams, Carolina Panthers.
34.
Correct. Joey Sly, Carolina Panthers.
9.
Incorrect. Jalen Coker, Carolina Panthers.
84.
Incorrect. Trey Boston, Carolina Panthers.
35.
Incorrect. Joey Sly, Carolina Panthers.
4.
Well, 4 would have been right if you said it before the buzzer. But not too much regret because that tie still would have gone to whoever went first. You were stuck on Coker in the 80s. 18 is what we were looking for, which is, that new modern receivers can wear lower numbers. But Coker 18, Williams 34, Trey Boston 33 is what we were looking for, and Sly, as I said, number 4. Not enough for the win, but hopefully you had some fun.
I did. Enjoy your date with the cup, Ryan.
Yeah, full date. A little zinger there. I like it. Ryan, you are the winner. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You get the $25 Autobell Car Wash gift card. All you have to do is stay on the line and give Max some info, all right?
Yeah, thanks. A big fan.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. There you go. Here's some.
Wasn't sure if you were going to make it through that.
I started coughing.
Make it through that one.
I was getting emotional.
You lost the oxygen. You forgot who was going.
You know what? I was a little out. We didn't do the numbers game yesterday because we took calls the whole time. I was just a little out of practice. That's all it was. Basketball fans might care about this. It's more of a national story. But Brian Windhorst, ESPN NBA insider, says LeBron is in talks with the Lakers to return for a 24th NBA season. Do with that what you will. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Kalshi. And you all know what's going on. We've talked about it a few times today. The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived. And you can trade on the entire tournament on Kalshi. Every match from the opening stage all the way to the final. You can trade on every single game, every single stage. You can even trade on things like the stage of elimination for a team like the United States. If you think they make it to the round of 16, and that's where it ends, and you get that correct, a $10 trade would pay out over $300. It's trading at about 31%. If you're a little bit more optimistic, you think that they make it to the quarterfinals and have their run end there, it would pay out, a $100 trade would pay out nearly $500 because it's trading at 19%. And obviously the payouts just go up from there. But here's the cool deal, right? You have to remember, on Kalshi, you're trading against peers and a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. So if you buy into a position and say it's 10%, that's what it's trading at now. And even if it's not complete, the event isn't over, but the probability goes to 20%, you can trade out and make that profit. For a limited time, you can download the Kalshi app and use code TIMD, that's TIMD with no spaces, and get $10 when you trade 10. So you can start off with a little boost thanks to little old me. Again, code TIMD, no spaces, to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus, restriction and eligibility requirements apply. Event contact trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We have a lot of Canes we still have to commemorate here for their run through the Stanley Cup. So when we come back, we're going to lightning round our way through the rest of the roster. Stick around.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Join me and my co-host Chris Lee from WREL TV as our podcast Panthers Playbook rolls on this offseason, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Carolina Panthers news as we break down the NFL draft, insights on free agents and prospects, plus all the inside information on the offseason. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Hey, it's Dennis for Men's Health Month. Fellas, let's acknowledge a pretty universal truth. We'll spend 3 weekends researching the perfect grill, but book a doctor's appointment? We think that can wait. The problem with that thinking is the silent killers that take out most men, heart disease, lung cancer, they don't send warning signs. They're in the background doing their damage, and before you know it, it can be too late to tackle effectively, which is why we're partnering with Craft Body Scan this month to help get the word out about how easy it is to be proactive about your health. Do it for the folks who love you. During June, Craft Body Scan is offering an incredible deal to our listeners. A couple's heart and lung scan valued at over $2,500 for just $99 with the promo code TheFan50. No needles, no contrast, no referral. You don't even have to take your clothes off. 10 minutes, both of you, done. And $10 from every scan goes to the American Heart Association. Book at craftbodyscan.com today and use the promo code TheFan50.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Should I wait for the lyrics? I'll wait for the lyrics. Michael McDonald.
Was gonna see if you were gonna wait and see.
I mean, I knew who it was. I'm not as familiar with the Michael McDonald catalog as Max is, but it's clockwork. The last break, we're going to get Michael McDonald coming out of break.
Well, once you said there was a guy who said he was a fan of it at one of the remote live broadcasts, I was like, well, now I got to keep it up.
It's a good bit. I think it's funny. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Unfortunately, we can't listen to much Michael McDonald here coming out of break because I wanted to. I just completely mistimed it. This is like the have you heard the stand-up by John Mulaney about making a happy birthday sign when you're a kid? And you're just big H, big A, and then little PPY because you're terrible at just judging the length. That's what I did, right? Because I wanted to go through the entire Carolina Hurricanes roster and talk about their contributions and the cool stories and the big moments that they each had to help win the Stanley Cup. And then we did like 6 of them, and we just talked about those individuals for way too long. And now we have a whole bunch that we're going to have to just very quickly run through. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. We have obviously until the end of the show to discuss them, and we got some heavy hitters that we have to discuss. So let's start with Taylor Hall. The long journey to the Cup for a number 1 overall pick. The injuries. People call him a suitcase for playing for a bunch of different teams. He's a former MVP. Finds a home. He has kind of unk status on that line. Game-winning goal in Game 6 to clinch. In the Game 6, that clinched the Stanley Cup for the Canes. He talked about it on our show last year after the trade deadline, needing guys that wanted to be here. And that became, I believe, a theme for the Carolina Hurricanes. Everybody wanted to be here. Taylor Hall certainly amongst them. Just a monster of a player. I love it when he rolls his shoulders forward. He looks like a football player, and that means he's coming downhill. And that appeals to my eye for watching sports. Let's talk about his line mate, Jackson Blake. Where does he go from here, Max? He is 22 years old, and he led the team in points in the postseason as they won the Stanley Cup.
I think he goes to probably like a 65 or 70-point season next year, probably akin to what we saw out of Nikolai Ehlers this season in the regular season. I think we're going to see a pretty similar stat line for Jackson Blake. I mean, I feel like, honestly, he is still not really recognized enough for how good he was, especially in the playoffs. I mean, to lead the team in points at his age in his second year in the NHL. I mean, I feel like he could have gotten a little bit more Conn Smythe love, honestly. I agree. He was a bit further down the voting list. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
it's because people love the story of Hall, and the line, because he played center, is called the Stankoven line.
Stankoven did have 11 goals in the playoffs as well.
But I think they're very equal in their impact on the postseason, meaning Blake, Hall, Stankoven, and Hall and Stankoven were just discussed more. I think Blake should be as well. I mean, fearlessness is what stands out to me. Like, he'll try anything, which is pretty darn cool. More Stanley Cup memories from the Carolina Hurricanes. Andrei Svechnikov. The pressure, the expectations that he's had on him throughout his career in Carolina. I am so wildly glad for him as a person that he had the 2 goals in Game 5. That he had the game that is like the Svech game. That he had the power play goals. That he has, if you didn't see it, I tweeted it out. The picture of him when he is scoring the goal that was set up, his second goal in Game 5 that was set up by the Ehlers pass, and the goal in the net caught the puck in the air. Carter Hart way out of position. He had already shot it. He knew he had the goal. He just had to watch it go into the net, and he's got a big old smile on his face. Like, I'm so glad Svech had that game. The injuries, the trade conversations, whatever you want to say, he's gone through. He did it, and he came out on the other side as a Stanley Cup champion. Today, he was out at a fast food joint selling to fans for an hour, and he ran outside. There was a long line, and he was interacting with them, just having a great time. Shout out to Svech. Let's talk Keandre Miller. There's somebody on Twitter put together a compilation of like the most memorable plays of each player during the Cup run, and his was the sliding on his belly poke check where he made up all of that ground and showed off his athleticism. And I just went, like, that is insane. You know how athletic you have to be that you could have whatever he had, like 8 or 9 assists and a bunch of great defensive plays. And the play that is so athletic that we can't be denied is you just chasing someone down and knocking the puck away. I also want to say this. Take that, old hating Ranger fans. The receipts that have been found about people when he was traded to the Canes and Ranger fans just going like, oh, good, got him off our hands. Wait till you see what he's really about. And then he ended up being, at times, the best defenseman on a team that went on to win the Stanley Cup. Take that. Eat that. I think he's going to be a great Canes defender for a long time. More. How about William Carrier? He's now won a cup with the Vegas Golden Knights and against the Vegas Golden Knights. He's done it with them and against them, which is pretty darn cool. The thing I think of when I think of William Carrier is be a absolute star in your role. You don't necessarily have to be the star. Be a star in your role. He very obviously knows his role in this team is to be a aggressive, energy, all out, right, empty the tank, fourth liner, and to hit people. And he does a great job at it. He hits people. And obviously it led to an injury, which you're not always hoping for, but just his physicality is wildly important. That fourth line relentlessness, I think, starts with him. Mike Riley, I didn't want to ignore him. I think he's the perfect seventh defenseman for this year's Canes team. Played 2 games this postseason, had 2 assists. That's beautiful. And I do believe he got to over 41 games, so his name will be on the cup. More, Nikolai Ehlers. That's why you signed Nikolai Ehlers. That's why you signed Nikolai Ehlers. and maybe saying, why did you sign him? For the offensive production in moments when you need to have it. Game 2, Montreal, both of those goals. I don't know if they get him in years past, but they did because they signed Nikolai Ehlers. The passing he had in the Stanley Cup final, bananas. Great player. I don't know. What is it? Does he have like a 71-point career high, something like that? How in the world does that guy not have an 80-point season in his history? I don't know.
Because he was underutilized.
Absolutely. It's got to be. If he plays 50% as well as he played in the Stanley Cup final, he's an 80-point guy. Seth Jarvis. I don't want to break Seth Jarvis down to the comic relief on the team. I think a lot of times that's kind of his rep. He's a really gosh darn good hockey player. He can play, and he does. He's a Kane in that both sides of the ice. I think he was playing through something. That's just a hunch. I imagine in the next week or two we're going to get some kind of a notification that he's dealing with something or has been, and he's going to get it fixed. You can't take away an overtime game winner. Can't take it away from him ever. Whether he was hurt or not, an overtime game winner in the Stanley Cup final, that stuff that goes on your gravestone. Pretty darn impressive. Logan Stankoven. I'm going to say this because everyone always talks about his size. If he were 6'2", 215, he just had a great Stanley Cup playoff run. He's 5'8", 165 pounds, probably closer to 5'7", 160. He had a great Stanley Cup playoff run. Regardless of size, the dude is a monster. I say it all the time. It's not the size of the Stankoven in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the Stankoven. 2 minutes, we got to roll. 3 minutes, we got to roll. Let's talk goalies. Freddie Anderson. I don't care that he wasn't the one to close it out. He's one of the most important Canes of the playoff run. What he went through on and off the ice this postseason, this season, the dude is a warrior for the Canes. Great teammate. He was the second guy to hold the cup. I think that says everything you need to know about what that locker room feels about him. He and Ehlers, I didn't say this about Ehlers, the second and third Danish players to win the cup. He should return home a national hero when he goes back to Denmark. Brandon Bussey, start casting the Disney movie, one of the great stories in sports. A shutout in the clincher Game 6. I actually think the Disney movie is going to have to end after Game 4 because it's like you don't believe it that he got a shutout in Game 6.
How many Hurricanes Disney movies can they make about goalies? Now that's 2. Or then with David Ayers, and then you factor in Cam Ward, that could be a third one.
I like it. Make them all into one. I like it. Weave the stories. Tell them time travel. I like it. Now we're talking. Just his unshakableness is ridiculous. All right, who else we got? We got 2 minutes here. I got to fly through them. We got to acknowledge them all. Sebastian Aho.
Oh yeah. Kind of an important one.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about him a lot yesterday, so I don't feel as bad. The hug with Brindamore at the end of Game 6, unbelievable. The emotion, those two guys wanting it for each other. Passing on hoisting the cup third when Freddie wanted to give it to him, so Taylor Hall would get it first. It's a future captain move. And he had the 4S goal. Skate, stick, score, scream. You needed it. Got it. He's a dude. Legend. Mark Jankowski. Traded for a future fifth that still hasn't been even picked yet, and he ends up scoring a goal to tie it in a 2-goal comeback that you end up winning in the Stanley Cup final, and they didn't take it away upon review. Mark Jankowski, legend. And then Jesperi Kotkaniemi, the only one we haven't done yet.
And Carrier.
No, we did Carrier.
Oh, we did Carrier.
We did Carrier. He's a star in his role. He's a big hitter. I think that's everybody. Kotkaniemi, Nick Delorier, stars in their role.
I mean,
right?
we talked about Nystrom. What about Charles Alexis Legault?
Charles Alexis Legault. I mean, the injury that he dealt with to his hand, I think robbed him of being one of the cooler stories of the season as well. They both might be future major contributors for the Carolina Hurricanes. All of them contributed. The team won the Stanley Cup. Let's go, Canes. We have Overdrive coming up next, so stick around for that. In the meantime, please subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. I'm looking to all of you in YouTube world. Subscribe if you're not doing it already. Everybody else, 99.9 The Fan, subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow for a Wednesday show. Don't forget the parade on Saturday. Check out 999thefan.com for details. See you tomorrow.
Move your sports day forward.
Championships are rare, and you'll always remember June 14, 2026, when rare became reality for you and the Carolina Hurricanes. Remember the feeling when the clock hit 0 and you high-fived the person next to you. The feeling, multiply it by 1,000,000. That's the collective I told you so from Caniac Nation to every non-believer.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander